But as soon as I hear from him, I'll let you know. Oh, come on, YouTube, go faster. The computer's crazy fast. How come the internet can't be crazy fast? There we go. No kidding. I love that Zoom says you're being live streamed. Did you know that? Yes. I pushed the button. It's like if my shoes were like, hey, we're on your feet. Did you know that?
How did you get there?
Right. What? No, you're not. You're in the other room. Wait, so you are. Right. So you'll find the link in the Facebook chat who wants to do a recap from last time.
Doing the social media stuff.
Oh, no. Well, you're not on social media.
No, never. That's not what I do.
Yeah, right.
All right. So from my 9 pages of notes. Last time we're in a burning tavern and ended up getting a ship with a bunch of individuals that had yellow rot on them. Yep. We debated backwards and forward whether we were going to be murder hobos or saviors. Eventually, we decided to try and help them out if we could because we knew a little bit about it. We looked through some of the crates and found that we had all I have is a note that says drugs, extremely illegal in very large letters.
That's all we had drugs. Yes.
Yep. So we found a bunch of clover dust, which can either put people to sleep, put them into a coma if you use a little bit more, or you can melt a person.
Yep.
We debated what we were going to do about that. Ended up getting attacked by a couple ships, which we promptly dispatched one of them. So the other one ran away because we have a blast bow on our ship. We started to make our way to the gray market where we also got a cutlass in it that had a note in it. I should put that. We made our way to the gray market where we also found that on fire. To meet with Trevane. We end up saving Trevane, even though he is a thankless little mofo. And we end up saving him, and he hired us for a job where we got the other coordinates to the mother lode. Our people woke up, Tom, Bomb, Vom, and all the others.
Yep.
And we started making our way out. When we stopped, our little slug that we got was starting to scream.
Which means there's poison.
Yep, and that's what I got.
Yay.
You bet. So the area you're looking at through the headache caused by the screaming. in case you don't remember, as I understand it, the slug is in the ship. The walls of the ship keep the noise from being too awfully loud. Are you going to sneak up on anybody on the ship? Probably not. Could you theoretically sneak up on another ship that was also making noise? Maybe. So through the sound of the creature, the general area you're looking at, right? Lush green Wildsea below you, the occasional slit of an iron root beneath that, where you are is nice and stable. The branches aren't going anywhere. Up around you, the thrash rises up several hundred feet. Most of the branches and coloring are brown and bright green, which is good because it's pretty. And it's bad because most monsters who live in this portion of the Wildsea are that color. Nature didn't just change because it got bigger. It did the same thing it always does. Animals adapt to their environment. You hear almost immediately the rustling of branches above you. Could be something, could be nothing. Could be natural. Could be something hunting you. Who knows? What do you do?
Yeah, we decided to go the squirrel route, not the pinwheel or the pinwolf route, correct?
Yes, that is my understanding. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
The split, right? The split you're looking for that'll take you either into pinwolves or to squirrels is coming up. There's a part where the Wildsea narrows down, and you're essentially a channel. And you choose left or right by pitching your ship at the right second. Very much like if a railroad track was set into the ground. Taking the right is no problem. The ship's designed for it. Feel free to roll for that if you like. I don't know who's at the wheel right now.
I don't know which one of us was there.
It was either a Zeta or a Jacobite.
Yeah, I can't remember which one of it was.
I don't either. I didn't write that part down.
And let's just say it was me.
I think
Okay.
Great.
you drove us to Trevane, and then Jacobite took over once we left.
Get this camera. I got a new camera and it's doing all kinds of crazy.
Wasn't you?
focus
Yeah, I
stuff.
see that.
Sorry,
but,
go ahead.
But the ship in the back is really great. So
Yes. One might even say bitching.
nice.
Come on. They said to
What?
wave.
There you
it
go.
goes.
I
So to wave your hand in front of it, and
it tells you to wave. No kidding.
yeah, it does.
Very
Yes.
cool. So Jacobite, are you rolling for this thing?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, what are we? Let's see. What do I have here? Crap. Well, I dropped that die.
That's okay. I do that a lot.
Let's see. I guess that would be. All right. Oop, I like this one instead of that one. Got some new dice, and one of them has consistently rolled well,
Woo!
but not today.
No?
3-3-1.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's rough. So I mean, it should be easy sailing, but if you're tired or angry or off your game or whatever, you pitch the ship too far to the right when you make the turn. The ship pitches downwards into the thrash for a second. When you come back up, you have an infestation. Almost immediately, you have what look like lemurs, except their tails are much longer than they should be and end in a vestigial hand. Remember when Deadpool like got his hand blown off and it's like the little baby hand? Like that. And they run around your ship and make off with your shit.
We have Wildsea triples.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yay!
They dart here and there like the little thieving lemurs that they are. Feel free to make some sort of roll if you know what they are. In case you already know, feel free to tell me. As sailors, you might already know what they are. Up to you.
I mean, I would, as a dredger, spend a lot of time below the normal level.
Okay,
So maybe I've run into these before. I guess it would make sense depending on how common they are.
sure. Tinker monkeys are a fairly regular occurrence in the Wildsea. They're not all monkeys. It's a class of. It's a slang term, not like a genus scientific specification, but they all have the same thing. They're intelligent scavengers that steal people's things. Speaking of, would you make a defensive roll for them to not swipe the thing that's easiest to swipe off your belt as they dart past you?
All right. For me, then I will go with Grace. I will go with Dodge. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Hull-Hearted because I don't want to lose my stuff. That's a 6-5-1, and I use my Hull-Hearted, so they're increased impact
Nice.
on
You bet.
success.
You bet. So not only do they not make off with your stuff, but as they run by, you grab one of them by the tail and goes and stops. Napolis, what'd you get?
Oh, I think I'm going to use Bales and Scavenge since I'm kind of like them, sort of recognize it, I suppose.
Sure.
And got a 4 and a 3.
Nice. You bet. So they make off with your thing, but you have enough time to swipe back at them and get it back. What did they take anyway? What's the easiest thing to snag off your belt?
Oh, they probably snagged my black market pistol.
Okay. Look, I see. So they must be thrown. The one that swipes it, little brown fellow, must be thrown off by the weight. Maybe, who knows? Either way, you have enough time to dart across the deck and get it back. You're only going to get the one shot though. Before we get back to that, Joaquin, what'd you roll?
So before I roll, I have a question.
Sure.
Would my fungal tendril help me at all in keeping them away from me, or is that something that would apply to something else?
Call that an extra advantage die and roll it.
Okay, so let me go ahead and roll. I got a 6 and a 4.
You bet. You deflect the little guy as he comes by. This one's brown with some green patches. Must be sick. When he darts past you, kind of whoop, and put the tail between you and him. And he swings at the tail, looks at you, goes, but continues to run past you.
Gotcha.
Jacobite, what'd you get?
5 and 2.
Rough.
Yeah.
You bet.
I'm not having a good day, just like my camera.
I see that. New camera, he says. Right. What do they take?
Well, I am assuming that they got my grappling chain.
Rough. You bet.
Yeah, it really sucks because I like that.
You and Napales both have an opportunity to get that back. Feel free to like chase them across the deck or shoot at them or, do something.
Yeah, so Joaquin definitely wants to use his advantage up in his little crow's nest and just start shooting at these things like fish in a barrel.
You bet. Feel free to roll for that. Rosetta, you have one by the tail. I'm not suggesting you should do this. I'm just saying you could, I know that sounds mean, but it was going to steal your shit.
No, just knowing what I would do, I'd probably just throw him off the side of the ship. Just get it as far away from as
As you're
possible
hurling
from
through the air,
us.
it goes, and flies off the side. Napales and Jacobite, what do you want to do? Creatures are making off with your stuff. And you see Joaquin up in the crow's nest. He's probably going to take a shot at him, but I mean, you can't shoot both of them.
I'm definitely going to use sharps to like sort of figure out where they're going.
You bet. Go ahead. What was that?
Leap at them, so I'm going to use that to jump at them, so I
You
can
bet.
kind of. What's wrong with you? Oh, that's
I'm gonna use iron and sense and just barrel my way through to try to grab him.
You bet. Like a train. No, Paulies, what'd you get?
Yep.
4-3.
6, 4, and 3. Nice. You kind of size him up like a football player. You go and you dart towards him. You feint correctly. You grab him. You take your thing. What do you do with him?
I have him.
Yeah.
Oh, off the edge he goes.
And you just toss him and followed by Jacobite. What'd you get?
641. That was a little
Nice.
better.
So you crash into that guy. He drops your thing as he flies through the air like a pool ball. Joaquin, do you want to shoot one of those? They go by.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I used instincts, shoot, deadeye, and my hammer pin revolver, and I got 2 6s, 3 and a 4.
You bet. So not only do you just plug one of them, like you wait to just the last second because it's cooler that way, and you plug one at the very edge of your range. What's the twist? Your call.
I would like to think that the one that I shoot gets blasted off the side, but as he's being blasted off the side, he takes another one with him.
Nice. You bet. They're not like fighters, right? They took a swipe because your ship got too close to the bottom. That's it. They don't like stick around to take another pass. As you hit the one and he takes one with him. This brown stuff shakes out of his fur onto the deck. Rosetta, you recognize that. It's pre-V dirt. Not that it's really worth anything. It is just dirt. But to some people, collectors of pre-V artifacts, anything that's pre-V is an artifact. Dirt, little bits of glass, whatever. So to the right person, that's worth everything. To most people, it's worth nothing.
Okay, so just knowing that, I guess, let's see, I don't really have any vials. However, I have firefly bulbs.
Sounds good?
So I think what I'll do is I'll take one of those out. I'll open up the top, let the fireflies out,
Yep. Okay.
and then I will just scoop up some of that dirt and throw it into one of the pouches that I have that I hold on to things.
You bet. Pre-V dirt to somebody like yourself is noticeable because the brown color it's richer in iron, so the color's a little different.
Okay.
When the fireflies float up into the air, they got up about 10 feet above Joaquin's position, give or take. They immediately die and fall back onto the deck.
That's right. We have poison gas that we have to deal with. I suppose the slug is still screaming.
Oh yeah, the whole time. Yeah. A brief spike in pitch that has gone now, probably because of the creatures. After that, Jacobite stabilizes the ship. I don't know if he's off because of his new camera or what, but he didn't really pull that off quite right. He stabilizes the ship and then he's good to go. And you sail onwards into squirrel territory. They are everywhere. It's like when you play a video game and I'm actually reminded of, has anyone ever seen the Popeye versus Sinbad cartoon? He fights Bluto, who's Sinbad this time. No, just me. So there's a period where Popeye enters this giant canyon filled with like 1,000 creatures. There's like 50 cheetahs over there and 100 snakes over here. And all the animals have come to watch him and Sinbad fight. And this is like that, except everything's a squirrel. They're everywhere. They're watching you and they're making no effort to hide that. There are as many squirrels here as there are branches. And
Yay.
they don't move their heads until they have to. They just kind of. So there you go, sailing through the woods with these creatures staring at you. The squealing from inside the ship changes. It doesn't stop and it doesn't get louder, but it definitely changes.
Would I know what that means?
It means that you are suffering. You are in the presence of, not necessarily suffering from, a different kind of gas. So sniffer slugs are grown. They're like champion show dogs, except you can lie about what your dog is. You can't lie about a sniffer slug. Their color denotes what they detect. This one is two different pigments of purple. This means that it detects exactly two different kinds of toxin. That will be two different toxins than if you had a slug that was two different shades of green. What do? It's a long way towards, where are you going again? Remind me. My apologies. It's been yesterday was ridiculous. On the upside, I have a phone I can take off my charger now. Woo!
Nice.
On the downside, we spent an hour in a drive-through. An hour, and we moved like 10 feet.
Yep.
and that was just part 17 of crap day, right? Like it was anyway, my apologies. I'm a little off today.
I think we decided we were heading for Deep Hole because we
Yes,
could sell things and
that's
get
right.
more armaments
right.
for our ship.
Okay, you bet. Yeah, okay, making sure I got that right. Deep Hole is on the other end of this canyon. You need to cross this area with the squirrels. And then there's the trapper section, usually nice, as long as you don't like open fire, right? It's a social tinderbox, right? Everybody gets along because if they stop, everybody dies. It's in everybody's best interest not to shoot at each other. It's a big cesspool of crime and skullduggery. If you're familiar with think your average elven forest, right? Big huts in the trees, lots of rope bridges, that sort of thing. But squirrels first. What do? They don't attack you, but you're definitely being watched.
Do we have any nuts on board in our food stores?
I mean, I assume. I'm sorry.
They're somewhat not all that perishable, I guess.
Yeah.
Surely.
I don't see how come you wouldn't have some gourds and nuts and such in your food supply barrels and crates and such. I don't see why not.
I'm gonna just make a suggestion that we maybe get a small handful of them and toss it towards the nearest squirrel. Maybe they're nice.
Really? Okay.
Maybe I'm just getting us killed. I don't know.
Olivia's
I mean, I've been rolling very well, so maybe my decisions are going to be crap too.
like, it's my idea. Somebody else should roll.
Regardless, keep his gun out and ready just in
You
case.
I mean, I can, if somebody wants to grab them and give them to me, I'll make the mistake.
No, Paulides, what do you think?
Well, the squirrels aren't attacking. I'm not quite sure why we're going to mess with them. If I'm honest, it's like, that's kind of tempting fate, maybe a little bit, especially after having the monkeys that I really don't really hate them. So I'm not sure I'm feeling too fond of cuddly small creatures at the moment.
Okay. Where's your sense of adventure? Ozetta, what do you think?
I'm kind of in favor of this giving them nuts deal.
Joaquin agrees.
Okay. Sure.
Let's be dumb because being boring isn't fun.
There you go. I agree with this. Life is short. Feed some squirrels.
You bet.
Now,
All right.
if I remember, like these squirrels in this world are not like squirrels; they're like squirrels.
You're right. Yeah. They're the
Like-
size of people who need to eat less. Right. For their own health. I'm not going on a shaming thing here.
Yeah.
So who's going downstairs to get the nuts?
I suppose I have to because Jacobite was driving.
I was gonna say, I guess
Poorly, but driving.
I kind of know where everything is because I've been the one that's put them assigned to do it. So
That's a good point.
very begrudgingly go down and get the damn nuts.
You bet. When you find the barrel that has your various dried goods, bits of meat, nuts, that sort of thing, they're made in little, not really parcels, they're not like individually wrapped or anything, but the place is organized. So all of the dried, more perishable foods are in one spot, if not even the same barrel. When you get down there, you find that they have been broken into and nibbled on. Recently, there are new, and I mean, don't step on those. You're going to smear your shoes. New droppings on the ground right in front of you.
Can I tell what might have been doing this and left said droppings?
I cannot believe I'm going to have. I mean, yes, I can. I have players. How familiar are you with the different kinds of feces in the Wildsea?
I'm going to say probably not very.
Okay. Is there a specific area where your fecal expertise increases?
As a cactus, maybe rodents and snakes.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe
I don't know. I'm just
snakes and that type of thing.
Okay. Snakes, did you say?
Yeah, I mean snakes and yeah.
Critters, you bet. So yeah,
Also, my apparent personal hatred of critters may be playing into this.
okay. In that case, yeah, roll for it. Roll whatever dice you want to apply, but roll one extra for an advantage. Because yeah, hatred drives one to do research and know things. I asked a friend of mine earlier, I said, hey, I won't bother you with all of her personal details, but she hates somebody. And I said, do I hate? I don't think I do. And she goes, is there anybody you can think of? You know, picture them in your mind, say their name, your blood boils and turns funny colors. And I said, no. And she says, do you love Amber? And I said, of course. And she goes, you hear that? No thought. Hatred's like, it's the same thing, just in the other direction. If you have to think about it, probably not. Like,
5, 5, 1.
you got a what?
5, 5, and 1.
5, 5, and 1. You bet. Not only do you recognize it as squirrel droppings, what's the twist?
It's those squirrels for sure. The same one out there. They've already been on my shit, those bastards.
As you look around the space, you see that there is you look for evidence where they might have gone. Right, you follow the poo. You find a loose
How
board.
big are these? Like
We're talking like human turds, right? A little percent, like 80% human turds, 80, 90.
just in my experience with squirrels, it's just one of these, like if they've gotten bigger, these are like
These are honking. Squirrels make surprisingly large turds.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked with a guy who used to always say the size of the turd is proportionate to the size of the animal.
That's not true.
I know, but he used to always say that. It's funny.
Some of the time, but not all the time. It's kind of like what you get what you pay for. Some of the time.
I mean, in my training for work, they're like, when you find poop, you can't be sure if it's a mouse or a cockroach. So
this suggests that they have the similar size poop portions.
they do.
Poop portions, as it
Poop
were.
portions. Yes, they have similar poop portions.
Whoa, not poop portions. I don't want that on my plate. Like, that's nasty. So you find a loose board on the side of the ship, not that goes outside, more like one of the closets has a like a damaged wall in it. You've got a stowaway that might have been here for who knows how long.
But you little son of a bitch. All right, so now before our next game, I know I need to watch Caddyshack for all further inspiration.
I've never seen it. Should I?
Oh yeah, classic.
No, classic does not mean good, and you know it.
Oh, it's good though, in my
Okay.
opinion.
All right, good to know.
I mean, if you like Bill Murray,
I do. He's the best part of Space Jam.
Yeah.
You either like Bill Murray or you're wrong. It's like
Yeah,
you
right.
either like Tom
Exactly.
Hanks or you're wrong. Like that's
I have a friend named Tom who does not enjoy Tom Hanks. And I said, how come? Like we were just talking about Toy Story one day, and he goes, Toy Story, man. I went, what's wrong with you? Somebody not love you as a child? What's wrong with you? And he went, I don't really like Tom Hanks. And I went, I'm sorry, what? Like, what's wrong? I'm so confused.
who
But he goes,
hurt you.
I don't just not like him. I kind of can't stand him. I went, I'm gonna need to look.
We
You're
need to
entitled to
tone
have
it back here.
Right, you're entitled to have your own opinion, but I still need you to take like 80% off. Okay, like it's too much.
You can have your opinion about a lot of things, but not Tom Hanks.
Right. Yeah, he apparently has a passionate dislike bordering on like contempt for the man. And I went,
Oh no.
why? He goes, I don't know. Just do. How do you
I understand that.
How do you trip and fall into contempt? I don't.
I understand that. There's few people like that. For me.
Anyway,
Fair enough.
here you are, loose board. You got to stow away. You're below decks. Nobody's there with you. What do you want to do? Oh, speaking of, Jacobite, are you moving the ship or are you cascading through the waves right now, or have you stopped while no Polys goes to get
Oh,
these nuts?
I assumed that we were slowly going through.
Just checking.
You said that there was a squirrel for every branch, basically. So I figured
least.
we'd be in them for a while. So
Mhm.
I guess
unless
up-
I eyeball one that's interesting, and then I may stop. But
You bet.
well, I guess they want more, you to have more friends up there, and I'm gonna go up and tell them there's already one down there. You sure you want more?
Wait, we have one down. There's one down there.
Yeah, there's already a scroll.
How to get in?
Yeah.
There's like some damage stuff. I mean, this wasn't in the best ship when we acquired it.
That's fair.
Hmm. Is he gonna stay down there or is he coming back up?
All the ones that want the squirrels.
We just want to appease the squirrels.
is it a baby or a grown ass squirrel?
Refer to the DM on this one.
You
Okay.
haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I thought I did. Like it was down there.
Oh no, you find a rotten part of wood hidden behind a good piece of wood, like somebody kind of tacked it up. Squirrels are smart enough to almost like to cover their tracks surprisingly well, just barely smart enough to use rudimentary tools like hammers. Probably not a screwdriver, maybe hammer for sure. They've done their best. They packed in some dirt. You've got a stowaway in the ship somewhere. You haven't seen it yet. Giving from the size of the turd, youngling, not just born. I'm giving you a lot of like poo knowledge with this hatred.
So they're smart enough to know how to cover their tracks and like use stuff to patch up holes, but they're not smart enough to pick up their own turds and leave them on our ship.
I actually have a reason for that, but I'm not going to give it away just yet.
right,
Not a historical screw up. I have a plan.
I
So-
will go
But I
downstairs
appreciate
with
the attention to
Nepales
detail.
to help him try and find this thing.
You bet.
Did I hear that it is likely a youngling?
You did. It
Okay.
is-
In that case, I'm gonna start going faster because I don't want Mama to bring every single one of them on our heads.
You bet. Roll for it. Nepales and Ozetta, what are you doing? You like digging through the bottom of the ship looking for this thing?
I guess I would be going about it the same way I would be looking for things when I'm dredging, looking for things that are out of place, things where that look like they could have been broken or fallen, and I guess in this case, following the poop.
You bet. Follow the scent trail, as it were.
Mhm.
Roll for that, but add an extra die because it's a thing you do all the time.
Okay, so I think I'm going to be using my sharps. I'll use my scavenge and sense skills,
You bet. By
so
which
then I'll
I
add-
mean, go ahead.
and then I'll add that extra one in.
Sure. By which I mean you look for clues, not a place fits, not you follow poo all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to give any viewer the wrong impression.
I got a 6-3-2-2.
You bet. So you find there is a couple of loose boards here and there, Total, so these are the space between the bilge and the upper deck. There's essentially a subfloor in there. You have a staircase that goes down through it, but the whole thing's been blocked up. The bilge just smells bad, and you put big heavy things in it, and you should, in theory, be able to take some damage to the bilge without completely destroying the ship. And they tend to smell awful. It's where the term bilge rat comes from. So the ship has an extra layer in it to try and keep that smell from permeating the rest of the ship. That's probably where your stowaways are. The rest of the walls that don't go outside are not thick enough to hold a bunch of little squirrely bastards. That's the good news. The bad news is you have at least 6 of them. Nepali's, what are you doing?
I don't know yet. Give me just a second to sort of.
You bet. Jacobite, what's going on? What'd you roll?
6511.
6511. You bet. So do you speed up? And I mean, I know you speed up, but I mean, how much are we talking? Are we talking full break, or
As quickly as we can go without being too obvious and too reckless.
okay? Sounds good. You
I would
achieve
say
that?
slightly over medium.
Okay, you bet. Medium high. You bet like 7 on the oven timer. 6
Yes.
and a half. You bet.
Yes.
What's the twist?
I thought about that and I had a good thing and it was right here on the tip of my brain.
Do you need a second? Because I forgot to ask Star what hers was.
Yes.
So I can go. You bet. Star, what was your twist with your roll?
Oh, I already forgot. Well, how did you twist?
You gain control over the narrative, which is kind of silly because you already had that. If you told me there's an explosion, you run with it.
So I think what I'm going to do is, as we went down, knowing that he said that Nepali said that these are likely juveniles of some
Mhm.
kind, I would have grabbed food.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to gag a little as I go into the bilge. I'm actually
Yeah.
going to go down there, pull out my moth lantern and try and coax them out with me. So if I get to do a twist, I'll say I'm able to coax them out of the bilge.
Sounds good. With your food, right? You get some out with you. They look very, very scared. Their eyeballs are really big. So Wildsea squirrels are larger, right, than average squirrels. Even babies are like the size of a house cat. And they're missing most of like the skin on their skull. Like from here down, like the muzzle portion is just bone all the time. So they look much creepier than they probably should. But these are clearly babies, which are, you don't see any parents or anything. They look afraid. They look malnourished and afraid. And there's a lot of this, like they look, when you come near them, they come out, but they come out. If you didn't know any better, you'd swear they think you're going to hit them.
Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab more food, seeing that they look malnourished. I'm going to sit on the floor so that I'm more on their level.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
kind of offer it up the food and back off so that
Okay.
they feel comfortable going forward.
Jacob, do you remember what your twist was before I get back to that?
Yeah, but I changed it because
Okay.
what she said made a lot of sense. So as I speed up,
Mhm.
dip a little bit, and incidentally run into some trees that have more nuts on them, and they come onto the deck of the ship.
Nice.
Couple
You could-
bushels full.
Right. And they pelt the top of the deck.
Yeah.
This is good and bad. Good that a bunch of them are on your ship. Bad because, I mean, you're in squirrel territory. Like, Nepalese, did you have an action? Do you want to do anything? You and Joaquin both, as you watch the squirrels on the branches, they haven't like left for you yet. But you know, dogs, these are things that want the ears go whoop, right? You have many whoops now. Hundreds of whoops.
Yeah, I'm going to actually say, okay, look, I guess you think they're cute and all. We need to get out of here.
The dog's jealous.
Yeah, he is.
So
When you said his ears just like went up like that, it's like whoop.
Like,
Joaquin is going to immediately jump down onto the deck from his perch
Yep.
and start trying to gather up all the nuts that are scattered about as quickly as he can. And
Okay.
he's kind of keeping an eye on what he's doing, but also keeping an eye on the squirrels around the ship as we're flying through, just to see if any of them try to make a move.
You bet. Sounds good. You notice that while their ears are perked up and they are watching you, they also, as you sail past, kind of out of the, turn the neck and they can't get any, like you're sailing past a bunch of them, which is breaking down their ability to keep track of you. The other ones back there are paying attention to something else. You are being pursued by a much smaller, a craft that just you can size it up. It can totally catch you if it wants to, and it isn't. But it's definitely staying behind you. It's low in the bottom of the thrash. You don't see anybody on it. Like if it was a real boat, like a sports boat, right? Like it goes really fast and it's real small. You don't see anybody on the deck, though that's not unheard of. Most of them have caps and all the working parts are inside. The window is difficult to see from this angle, but you are definitely, maybe they're not following you, but they're definitely behind you.
Okay, I am immediately going to very discreetly tell Jacobite and Nepalis, since they're up on the top, and let them know what's going on.
What do you think before I get back to Ozetta and her class of children?
I'm going to recommend that we fly as we have been. Don't make any moves that would alert them to the fact that we know that they're there. And I'll just keep an eye on them. Just be ready to take action if I give the signal. And so once I have kind of gathered up all the nuts and stuff, I'm just going to hand them off to Nepalis and then get immediately back up in the crow's nest and very discreetly keep an eye on the ship that's following.
You bet. Ozetta, the creatures come out, right? They come towards you after a couple of very long seconds. But they come up, they get as close to the food as they can get at arm's reach out, swipe it, and then take 2 steps away from you. They do not turn their back to you. And then they do that a couple more times until the pile of food is all gone. After a couple of nibbles, and you don't slap them when they come for another one, they eventually stop coming, like backing up. They just sit there with the food and eat it. They lose all. You're pretty sure they don't know you're there. They're up to their eyeballs in food, and you're reasonably sure that has never happened. No table manners, but it's kind of cute in its own spit-covered nutshells everywhere kind of way. You notice as they eat that each of them has a chip out of one of their ears, like a punch tag.
Okay. Would I know what that is?
Poachers.
Oh.
They're the victims of poachers. Some people collect squirrels. Now, some sailors use them on their ship as like crew members, right? They throw rocks, they get slings, stuff like that. And by and large, squirrels go for that. They are wild, they are active creatures. Keeping them, it's like having a high energy dog as an indoor exclusive pet with no exercise. It's not fair to the animal, right? If you have a squirrel if you get squirrels, some people will collect them and like keep them as interior zoo animals. And in order to they won't behave when you do that. So poachers beat them until they break their will so they don't do that anymore.
Oh.
And these squirrels look like they're either poaching victims or the children of poaching victims. Chances are that punch tag doesn't happen on its own.
Yeah. So I'm guessing we have felt the ship speed up too at some point.
Yeah, you bet.
So at this point, I'm just gonna look at them and I'm gonna go, I know you can't understand me, but you can stay and help protect the ship and we'll feed you, or you can go.
They look you over carefully, right? They kind of look at each other. They're hunched over, their paws are like this. One of them straightens up a little bit and points at itself and then points at you and makes this kind of squirrely, like I'm gonna like pound symbol in the air. But it's all wrong, and the lengths aren't the same. And then it points at the ground and bangs a couple of times and then runs back into the other room.
So I know this is gonna be maybe a stretch, but I know the language of signaling. Would I?
You would actually. Language of signaling is in most creatures. They have expressed that something very, 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 very horrible is below you.
Oh,
I don't know if where you are, you can't actually see below the ship because you're in the bottom of the ship. Joaquin, you can see the underneath of like there's this huge shadow underneath the ship that just rose up out of nowhere. You went from nice normal depth of color to like Leviathan shadow in a couple of seconds.
yeah. So would pop my head up and be like, they say something's below us.
Yeah, Joaquin looks down and sees this, and he's gonna immediately tell them what he sees.
Joaquin,
Doesn't look
Jacobite,
good.
sounds good. Jacobite, before I get to Nepali and see what he's doing, you're driving. What do you want to do?
Speed up.
You bet. That shadow's getting awful big at this as he says that, and she goes, "Hey!" You can see the shadow like out past, in front of the ship. So I assume you're gonna speed up a lot.
Full.
You bet. Go for it.
Reckless abandon.
I see the squirrel behind you.
Yeah.
Is that a lime? Is that 2 limes?
It's
Those are black walnuts.
yes.
No kidding.
I was gonna say I think it's walnuts, but I wasn't sure.
They're green. Why
Yeah.
are they called black walnuts?
Because when they
The
start
outside had to come
to,
off.
yeah, because when the
I see.
outside comes off, then they're black on the inside.
No kidding. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we had a bunch of them in our yard. The squirrels used to throw them at us. It was great.
Nice. Learn something every day. Jacob, what would you get?
6542.
No, you bet.
Nice.
So as you right, you cut loose, you smash a bunch of branches, and you don't care. The black shadow breaks the surface, at least a portion of it. What looks like a huge ink-stained branch hand shoots out from underneath the bottom, grabs that small ship, crushes it like splinters, and then sinks back below the waves. No, Polys, what do you want to do?
Is being the first one to collectively shit my pants, does that count?
No. The squirrels did that first.
And now hold on, technicality, they don't have pants.
They don't have pants, but they did shit themselves first.
So actually, I would like to use my iris blossom aspect so I can see the way others see color about this hand. Like, do I notice anything on that?
Say that
front?
one more time. I'm sorry, my audio blinked for a second.
Oh, I can see heat. Basically, it's like heat vision almost. Like you can see heat the way others see color.
Okay, sounds good. So you have heat vision. You can see like
Infrared.
yeah, right. How does that work like that? Is things that are hotter, brighter red for you, and things that are colder, deeper blue? Sure.
It's very non-specific after that point.
Well, I know that. I just you wanted to like color it yourself.
Oh,
What color is your ability?
I mean, typical heat spectrum, red would actually be cooler. And then as you head towards the blue, that's danger, Will Robinson type, stuff.
Okay, sounds good. You bet. So the thing you're looking at gives off no heat at all. In your vision, it matches the same heat as the area around it, which is to say it's not cold, it's room temperature, but it has no, there's a distortion in it. What you're seeing is the heat of the things around it over it. It's not throwing any heat. None.
I'm going to express that and to be like, okay, can we go any faster? In fact, let me go look on that. I'm going to see if I can find a way to make the ship go faster.
You bet. As you dig through the bottom of the ship, you find, there's bits and pieces down there. You can make what amounts to a thruster, but you can do it right or you can do it fast. Up to you. If you do it right, you don't have to roll for that. If you do it fast, you can do it now, and I'm gonna have you roll for it. If you screw up that roll, you'll ruin the parts.
I'm going to do it fast.
Okay, you bet.
So you start and craft and scavenge, actually.
Sounds good.
Waiting on somebody to make a family joke because we're about to hit the nitrous.
Then I'll do it.
What was that, Nepalese?
2 5s, a 4, and a 3.
2 5s isn't bad. You bet. So you make it work. You do like take a bunch of metal and bang, 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 nail, zip, 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 zip. You quickly carve out a hole on the bottom of the back of the ship. You slide the thing out the back. So it's not combustion, right? That's illegal. And not in a, well, that's morally unjust kind of way, in a mutual
All of you
disservice.
can assume that Nepalese cares.
Oh, I'm not. That's just not how the thruster was designed.
Okay.
Like, the thruster takes the air in the ship, so it's essentially a big fan, and it pushes the air out in like big blocks. It's a massive. It's not very big, but it pulls a lot of air. So it's essentially an air conditioner that pushes the ship faster a little bit. It's not. You need way more than one in order to get in. A noticeable increase in thrust. The good news is though, you're you, and you don't care if you add a little bit of combustion, right? So the ship goes like 30% faster. The bad news is that's not going to hold together forever, because the hole you make to slide it into, you get a little ahead of yourself, and it's not as tight as it should be. The thruster will either need constant babysitting or will fall out the back of your ship eventually. But that's later, right? Today, you go through the waves with no problems, and you zoom up towards the giant airlock that makes up let's call it the skullduggery quarter. It's a giant, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Clay barricade. It's a huge wall with a circular airlock in it. People on the things outside of windows in New York City, like the slidey rampy things. There's a bunch of people on those outside. Many of them have rifles. A couple of them have megaphones. They look like cactus people, and they're not thrilled to see anybody. They ask you to state your business, but they ask it. It's not really a question.
Are they close enough to hear us, or?
After a couple of seconds, they say they read your mind. They say the wall has sound amplifiers in it. Speak and be heard.
Big fucker behind us coming fast. Please don't be pricks and let us through. Cactus joke.
The gate opens.
Thank you.
And
As we're
they
zooming through.
Yeah, right. And they immediately pull out their guns and point down, like they wait for the creature to swing this way. When you come through the gate, you're looking at a huge, just gnarled knot of rope bridges that go back and forth here. Tons of like mangled slats of wood over there. Some of those buildings aren't even like right side up. The whole place just kind of looks like a shanty town made of wood, metal, and plate bits all thrown together. It's like a floating junkyard. There is a place to dock the ship. That's the good news. The bad news is all the slots are full. There's just no place to dock the ship.
I'm gonna holler at Nopales and say, "Hey, these your friends? Do you know where we can stay?"
I guess I'm gonna pop up and I'm going to speak to them in. Is it? Sorry, hard to read. Is it Saprek?
I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a proper noun. You tell me. It's your language. You tell me.
I'm going to speak to them in Saprek, and I'm going to kind of explain, leaving out certain details. Well, we're on this ship. We were just chased by this thing. Can you help us out here?
They go. You describe the size of the creature. They
Yes.
go, oh, the deep thing. Oh, yeah. First time, yeah, it's a real rush. Yeah, you bet. Hey, and they point to the character. They go, move your damn shit. You don't look at me like that. I know you can get closer to that one. No. And in a couple of minutes, the ship has moved over to make space for you. And it goes,
Just scooch a little.
Right, scooch in a little bit. Scooch in. Wide load coming through. Scooch in. And once you pull in the ship, right, and you get off the ship, the Ectus you're into is the one you spoke to is like, look, you're looking at it. Don't, do anything violent out in the open, and everyone will get along.
As we are getting off, I'm going to pick Vom. Vom
Okay,
has now become my
sure.
dude.
Okay.
And I'm going to be like, you are in charge while we're gone. Keep the ship safe. Try and make sure the squirrels don't eat us at a house and home. And maybe don't mention the stuff we have hidden in the walls. Okay. Okay.
He goes like this, and he goes, "What do I do with this?" And he pulls what looks like a jagged, like a broken piece of amethyst out of his pockets. And he
Where
goes,
did that come from?
Remember when the big one cut through the very bushes like a knife through? Yeah, okay, yeah. This fell on the deck, and I wasn't sure what to do with it.
Oh,
Get downstairs in the wall.
I'll take it for now.
Sure, it's about the size of a chicken egg.
Okay, so you said it's like some jagged amethyst looking.
Yeah, it looks like a jagged piece of amethyst broken in places. Not refined at all. It's not like the kind of thing you find in a ring, right?
Okay.
But it's about the size of a chicken egg. And
Yeah.
he goes
Thank
back to
you.
the ship. He looks very, very pleased with himself. He's in charge, right?
Very, yeah, trustworthy guy.
I'm gonna
Keep
holler
an eye
back
on
at
you,
him.
Vom.
I'm gonna holler back at him. Don't eat any paint, dumbass.
Was Vom the one that ate paint last time?
Was it Vom?
I don't remember. I didn't write down who it was.
It was Vom or Tom.
it was
I thought it
Vom
was Vom.
because he was vomiting, and I thought it was funny that
That's
Vom
funny.
was the one vomiting.
But it can't have been Dom because all he needs is family, right?
Yes.
I'm
There
sorry,
it is.
I had to do it.
Oh, yeah. So yes, I put the one that likes to eat paint in charge.
Nice. Are you sure that's a good idea?
Well, we're gonna give him a shot and see what happens. And if he's wrong, we throw him off the ship.
I was just about to ask him, what happens if he fails? You're down one stooge.
Then we make an example of someone. That's what we do.
Right, because torturing, you're like the guy who eats paint. Yeah. You bet. It's a fairly busy place. There's people, there's lots of tension, right? It's glaringly obvious that nobody trusts anybody. Right. They all trust each other enough to keep the village intact. But you can buy stuff, right? You can sell stuff. This is not where you were headed. Most of the stuff you can buy here is carried on your person kind of stuff. There's a small marketplace over there filled with animals, squirrels among them. But by and large, it's a buy a gun, buy a saber, that sort of thing kind of place. There's a bar over there. There's a smokehouse over there. There's people causing some crap. Nice. There's some people causing some crap here and there. But it's like a push and an angry face. And then this chime sounds from who knows where. And then they immediately stop. Their eyes get all worrisome. And they go, yeah, well, no hard feelings. And they separate and walk away quickly. Most of the people here are Ectus, but not all of them. You see a smattering of humans and the moth people, whose name I forget right now, all over the place. The moth people tend to float from place to place quickly, like they all have a caricature of ADHD. Zip, 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 zip. I'm picturing Hammy after he has the energy drink.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. That's a joke in our house. My manic energy, Amber's brilliant plan. Like, because she's the smart one. So what's the plan there, Jacobite, who is briefly blurry again? Because your camera's calling you mean names.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch back to my other camera, I guess, for now, till I get this figured out. I don't know. I was not in front. I'm just kind
Okay.
of following.
Okay, who is in front?
Probably me, since this is mostly my people, I suppose.
You bet.
Joaquin will be kind of flanking him just a little bit off to his left.
Sounds good.
I suppose
Nope.
I would just be catching up since I was giving last minute instructions.
Sounds good. Nobody gives you any shit, right? Nobody really looks at you all that much. People are busy doing their own thing, and you're not the only sailors here. So that doesn't make any particular impact either.
So
Um,
I'm going to ask her if she hit all the paint.
Honestly, didn't think about it. Probably should have. Well, let's give Vom a chance and see if maybe that was a one-time occurrence. Also, I think they actually used up all the paint, so we might be okay.
yeah,
We need to buy more paint.
if you come back and Vom's in there like getting every last bit out of the bottom with his tongue of a paint can.
All right, then we're gonna vote to see if we vote him off the island or not.
You see two guys at the edge of a dock who are not listening to the chime, right? The two bigger guys, one looks a little bit stronger than the other one looks a little bit faster than the other one. You can see the muscles kind of ripple underneath. and they argue, they swear, they spit at each other. The chime goes off. The big one goes and punches the small one. Who do any of you think you have particularly good reflexes, like better than average sight or like reaction time? Yeah, Joaquin.
Yes.
Feel free to
Yes,
roll
that
for
is
that to see if you figure out where this comes from.
Okay, just use instinct.
You bet.
Okay. That's a 5.
Nice. You bet. You watch, you know where it came from. You're not exactly sure what it was. It was either a dart or a blade. Shoots from one end of town, clear across to the other one in less time than it takes to say it, and kills that man. He slumps onto the floor as you watch the tiniest trace of red go past him. And the one that got hit goes, should have listened to the chimes, and walks away. Steps over the dead guy, picks up his sword off his belt, and goes, mine now. Walks past you and goes, what are you looking at?
Nothing.
Now what?
I think I'd probably say, what the hell was that?
What do you mean, what the hell was that?
Did you kill him or what?
Oh, no. Nobody kills anybody here in the pit. Nobody.
But he's dead.
Well, yeah, the chime demon. Are you new here?
A little
Uh-huh.
bit?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was talking to Greens. All right, look, here's what you need to know. Violence.
So I'm green, and I will have that moment of, hey.
And he'd be like, "Oh, my apologies. I didn't know." Like he immediately apologizes, and then goes back to being an asshole.
Okay.
Right? Like there's a line, like.
Hey,
There's being an asshole. There's being a super asshole. He likes
You're
to
right,
hold
right.
that line.
Like, and he goes,
it's not
"Whoops."
easy being green, dude.
Right. Oh man, Hulk would disagree. You know what I mean? Like, Hulk coup is actually a thing in a video game where Doc Samson thinks that Hulk should express his anger through words. So
Yes.
Hulk writes haiku, and they're hilarious.
Yes.
One of my favorites is green. Stupid frog is wrong. It easy being green.
Marvel
I love-
Ultimate Alliance.
I love
Yeah.
one. You bet.
Yep.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, I'm not sure about the gameplay. Yeah. But
Eh.
Hulk is great. Like,
Oh yeah, my favorite part.
for sure. The Deadpool after visit's pretty great too. Did you
Mhm.
get that?
It is. It is. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna show Point Dexter how many hit points he's got. And he goes, yeah, he comes back down from being, he doesn't want to be a super asshole. He goes, oh, my apologies. Whoops. Sorry. It's been a stressful day. Here's what you need to know. Out here, violence bad. You'll know if it's violence because the pit will tell you by chiming. Inside, violence still probably pretty bad, since violence tends to spill out into outside, since people who own insides don't want you doing it in there. When you get blood all over the walls, they get upset. So best to keep your swords wherever they are that isn't inside somebody.
Fair enough. Thank you for the warning.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
Hmm.
And he goes, as he walks by, he goes, rudeness is usually fine. Still, sorry about that. And continues down the path. And heads into a large building. As he opens the door, you hear the sound of much yelling.
Okay, so don't fight people when we're here if we can help it.
Right.
We're screwed.
Or their supposed chime demon kills you. Right.
Chime demon.
That's what he said, chime demon.
Hey, is this like an Ectus thing, or is this this town thing, or?
You're an Ectus. You've been here before, yes?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay. So you're familiar with the chime demon concept, but only from here. It's not like an Ectus tradition. It's a this town kind of thing. The people kind of look at it like it's always been that way, right? Like no one knows where the chime has come. No one knows where the chime comes from. Not everybody believes it's actually a demon. Nobody gives it a lot of thought because everybody knows the score, right? And there's probably no fixing it. Most people are not under the impression that anybody they know or anybody their parents knew built that clay wall. That's unusual. Clay structures, think about it. Clay gets really, really hot and it bakes up, and then baked clay gets kind of brittle, right? So they don't tend to make shit out of that anymore. Also, to make a large amount of clay into a solid concept needs a lot of heat, which is not a thing you tend to use in the Wildsea if you can avoid it. So that's definitely a visual anomaly.
Free V.
Maybe, though that would be weird given how high in the air it is. I mean, there are no skyscrapers that were made out of clay, at least not that I'm aware of. Anyway, it's not like I've been to every country in the world or anything. but the general consensus is that it's not pre-V and it's not normal either. That it's Wildsea, it's present tech, just really weird. It's also enormous. Most people believe that some rich guy with too much money did it. Because that's what rich people do. They spend too much money on silly things. Okay. So you're in this town. You can buy basically anything, as long as it's something you can carry with one hand. You can definitely buy it. You can use it to kill somebody else, and you can carry it with one hand.
So the smaller guy before, he was killed by a dart, you said?
Yep, that flew back into what looks like it looks like it hit the clay wall on the side, but you don't see it from here. Then again, the clay wall is way over there. The city itself is I would say the size of like Springfield, but you probably don't know what that is. Springfield, Vermont is, like you're looking like 30,000 people here. It's pretty big. Most of them are up. It's more vertical than it is horizontal.
So there's not any way that Joaquin could retrieve that dart.
Not without you doing some aerial stuff. The walkway does not go up against the clay wall.
Okay.
But from here, you can kind of size up that gap, 40 feet, maybe a little less. The people do maximize the amount of space inside the wall because the walls don't exactly go out. So while the town did eventually go up, not in the beginning, right? So the paths get pretty close. Some clever rope work. You could probably check it out if you wanted.
I don't know. Do you guys think it's worth looking into?
I mean, it's interesting, but I don't know if it'll do anything for us.
That's fine.
But if it's something you want to go into, I mean, feel free.
I was on the fence about it. I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to do it or not. I was just a little curious.
Fair enough. I mean, if it is something you want to explore, we can always tell the squad to be ready to go at a moment's notice.
That's funny. What I realize you're here on the way to the place where you're going to go buy like ship upgrades, but why did you stop here? You didn't have to. You could have just gone through this gate and on to the next one.
Well, one, we got chased by a Leviathan or something, so
Yeah.
we had to stop. But I don't know. See what we can find.
You bet. Sounds
I mean,
good.
Listen for the whispers of anything.
Oh yeah.
I guess
Feel
as a
free to-
dredger, that's something that I would probably focus on, is just walking through and seeing what I can hear.
Yeah, you bet. Roll for it.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's go back to my skills sheet.
As a dredger, I'm going to throw you one for free. But
Okay. So I guess I'd be using sense. I'd use, let's see.
I need new headphones.
I guess I'd use sharps and then master salvager. I know that's finding like rarity of things, but would I get anything else out of this? And stealth, I guess I'd be using, because I'd be trying to listen to people without them realizing I'm there, because better secrets come out of people not knowing you're around.
You bet. Without you getting
Using-
involved in their personal business.
I got a 5-3-2-2.
Nice. So as you listen, you kind of walk around the place, you size up the place, you listen to some people, and nobody here looks particularly trustworthy, right? Like, I mean, none of them, right? So who knows how true the whispers are, right? Any number of these stories could be somebody winding somebody else up, trying to get rid of some competition, right? Would you come up with 3 leads that, assuming they are true, are promising? It sounds like there's been a salvage wreck recently. A couple of ships that fell a long time ago have been pushed up by the Wildsea to be where you can reach them without having to go way down to get them. There's still a layer down, but that beats the bottom, right? So they just came up. So salvage crews are being put together to go get them. The only problem is that there's spin wolves down there. And the big shaggy ones, not the up top fast ones. Look at Mike's face. Just look, what the hell was that? What does that even mean? Somebody says that sailing through, somebody says that they found an old vault. And somebody's like, yeah, but that vault's old news. And he goes, yeah, but I think I found the key. And he goes, even if you did, that's Leviathan territory. He goes, right, but you and I both know that you use those yellow chimey thingies and you chase it off. He goes, that is not true. He goes, you don't know that. He goes, you want to find out, right? You want to test that bet. And you hear that there's a ship captain come through really irritated because his crew left and he's busy hunting them down.
Do I catch a name?
No, but you do get a description he offers up a description of the crew. He's offering a trophy for each one of their heads, except for the ship guy. He goes, I don't really care about the head. I want the whole thing.
Do those descriptions sound familiar to me?
They do, as a matter of fact. And the reward money is up there.
Okay.
I don't know what you did, but he's very unhappy.
Fair enough.
He's offering like a year's worth of salvage for each head.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So I don't want to take up too much of the time, but I would actually probably try and find the guy talking about the vault because he says he has the key.
You bet. Sounds good. You walked by him to like listen, right? You're looking at what the hell am I? You're one of them, right? The ones with the tentacles.
Yep, a Ketra. Yep.
He looks gnarly he looks like he's been through a lot and he's walked away without a lot of scratches. He comes across as overly confident, right? Maybe it's a deserved, maybe not. You can decide him up and go, his reflexes are good. But his vision, it's a little bit cloudy. Maybe he got hit in the face. Maybe he's old. Who knows?
Okay.
As a Ketra, this is going to be a weird question. How do you age? Can you tell? Like humans get older and wrinkly and we lose pigment and all that. Do Ketra have any visual signs of aging?
So Ketra also they're more gelatinous beings. So I would assume it would be something along the lines of
you drip.
I guess what I was thinking is more like you dry up a little, so the gelatinous form doesn't move quite as easily. Your ink blots don't move quite as easily.
Okay, there's less moisture. So
you get a little bit of cracking going on. Kind of look like really old Jello.
I like pudding when you really should throw it away, right?
Yeah,
it peels away from the edge.
Yeah, I just kind of assume that's what you kind of do. You're not able to slip into like tight spaces as much as as before because you crack a little bit.
Does that mean Ketra don't scar? Do you have like enough? Physical substance, like it doesn't really. You've got a bunch of kind of goo in there. Do you scar? Is that something that do they have? Can they take permanent flesh wounds?
I don't know because I would say probably not because moisturize me. Because part of the Ketra lore is like we don't actually have a form. We use driftwood and iron to give ourselves a skeleton to give us a humanist form.
Okay.
So we are actively putting things into our bodies to give us a humanoid form.
That's kind of gross.
Yep.
I love it. You bet. What was God damn it. Ed, what was the name of Ross's sandwich?
The moist maker.
Was it.
That was the piece of bread in the middle.
Oh.
The moist maker.
They sent me that GIF one day and I was like, what the hell is that?
Oh, no.
And then I felt the need to watch the show. I was like, you ate my sandwich? Yeah. So we just watched the one where Rachel gives birth and she headbutts Ross. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
It's a shame it wasn't fatal.
That is true, but I will not. I will totally admit that I rewound it immediately to watch that happen again. That was I was like, boom.
Oh yeah.
that was badass.
Oh
You
yeah.
bet. So I know I said you can tell that he's been through some stuff, but maybe you can't tell. Like, I don't know. You know what? His armor looks old. The pieces of bits in him look
Okay.
from many ship designs back. Ship designs are up to the individual, but there is as technology rises and ebbs and flows like the waves, people tend to, there's still best practices, right? You don't make your ship out of dried mud, right? And you can see some remnants of older technology inside of it.
Okay.
You do see a key hanging off a chain on the back of his belt. He's not taking any effort to hide it. You watched him hold it up and wiggle it in front of that guy's face. And he went, nope, and walked away. He's not holding it now.
Okay. So it's like, are we at like a tavern, or is this just sitting outside, or?
So he's outside, standing on top of a wooden platform right on the edge of it. There's no rail or anything. There are no rails in this town.
Okay.
Probably to help discourage those fights, right? If you only have a couple of feet to work with,
Yeah. So I guess I will just walk up to him.
Okay.
And I will just say, I'm not gonna mince words. I hear you found a vault and you have a key.
I did, and I do.
What would it take to part with that key?
Oh, I'm not parting with the key.
Really?
But counter offer.
Hmm.
What I need is a crew brave enough to take their ship out towards the vault, Leviathan territory, and all that. How about I go with you? I use your ship, you use my key. We split the take evenly. Everybody wins.
Sounds fair. I'd have to check with my crew. Obviously, I don't make decisions for everyone.
Okay, sure. How many people are we talking?
We have like 11. Only 4 of us make decisions. There's only 4 of us that matter. Don't worry about that.
So we're talking a split 5 ways, not 12. Not
No.
12, not 15.
They partake in our part. We don't need to fraction that down
Fine
more.
by me. You bet. Do you have some yellow rot on?
Yellow rot?
Yeah.
Why?
The yellow dust, breathe it, bad stuff happens to you.
Why do you want yellow rot?
The Leviathan doesn't like it.
Interesting. Well, we happen to find our crew covered in it. So we could look at our ship. We could look at our ship to see if there's any remnants anywhere. Is that what you meant by the chime?
Huh? No, the chime is what happens here in town. The yellow stuff. You'll need the yellow stuff to keep the Leviathan. From
I
attacking
must
you.
have. All right. Well, the name is Ozetta.
Nice to meet you.
What is
I'll
yours?
be here. I didn't give it.
Aha. All right. Well, let me go check with my crew, and if you don't hear from us by nightfall, we left without you.
Okay.
Okay.
He sits down on a bench on the edge there. Key just dangling off his pants above the nothingness.
So tempted. Not good enough. But I
Jacob,
know a guy who is. Okay.
You're right. I was just about to get to him.
I've been plotting this whole time.
I thought maybe I can, I thought I saw Mike drool a little bit for a second. Like
I'm stealthy. I'm a finder. I'm not a taker, but I know somebody who is.
before I go let Mike revel in his Jacob, what are you up to? You're you're huge. You take up most of the walkway. People have to part around you. When you walk on the ramp, it's a one-way ramp.
I am wandering somewhat aimlessly around
Okay.
the shipyard.
You bet. You catch the occasional look from sailors who only heard of creatures like you, but they've never actually seen one. But it's all wonder, not disrespect, right? at a couple of points, they'll come up and ask you, when they're done working on whatever project, banging on this piece of wood or whatever they're working on, they'll ask you a question, right? They'll go, hey, do you feel pain, right? The occasional curiosity question. I don't know if you get those all the time, if that's annoying or what.
It's all right. It hasn't
Uh,
happened long enough for me to be super annoyed with it.
I see. One guy will come up to you and say, hey, I know this is going to sound a little weird. He's a young human. He doesn't look like he's been on more than a couple of voyages tops. When he gets off the ship, his legs kind of wobble. He's very new to the whole Evan back and forth thing. He says, he looks at you with these big bright eyes and he says, this is going to sound really weird. I don't know if there's like a town where you'll come from or something. I'm looking for somebody just like you, larger, bright red cherry chest. Have you seen?
There's not many larger than me. I think I would have recognized and remembered that.
Thank
I
you.
don't believe so.
Sad. I thank you so
What does this one go by?
much. I think they call themselves Boom, but then again, they were punching the head off the neck of my father. So I'm not actually sure if that's what their name or if that's what they were just annotating.
Gotcha.
Oh, don't get the wrong impression. I hated the man. I'd like to offer Boom my services, and I didn't know if you knew where I could find him.
Well, what do you do? What are your services?
Mostly, I'm a rigger. If it's broken, I can fix it, and I can fix it under fire.
Do you have something that you call a home at the moment?
Well, it was that ship, but we just got off, and they're gonna go do merchant shit, and they're never. If Boom's out there somewhere, he's never gonna be there, right? He's gonna be out in the places where murder happens. So I know I'm new, right? But I'm good at what I do, and I don't take up a lot of space. You look like you sail. I would love to sail with you. I realize that's a big request for somebody you've never met, but
I'll tell you what. Why don't you come with me and you can meet a couple people on the crew and we'll see what they think.
absolutely. Thank you so much. And he grabs his bags, which are on the ground next to him, and picks them up and comes find you.
All right.
Joaquin, what are you up to? I mean, I think I know what you're up to.
So there's this guy. He's got a key. He's sitting over there.
Oh,
It's
really?
like taking candy from a baby.
Side note, our captain might be here trying to kill us, but there's a key, which is more important.
Okay. So Joaquin is immediately going to start scouting out the area that this guy was in and see if there's a way for him to climb around and climb down a bit and then approach from the side and then climb up behind where the key is overhanging where the guy is sitting.
You bet.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. You bet. So the town goes up and around and down. It's a very three-dimensional kind of space. So you've got lots of rope and wood to work with. There isn't like a rope ladder right by his ass or anything with the key, but a lot of the people up top get by swinging on the ropes of bridges that have rotted away. The town hasn't replaced them because they still work the way they do. Kind of like if you can't manage to swing from here to here, if you fall to your death, probably better that way, right? Better here than on a cruise somewhere and you put other people's lives in danger. They're all thieves and slime and thugs, but I mean, nobody wants to die, right? So you could definitely Tarzan past this guy and take a swipe at the key. But if that's too kinetic for you, there's a ladder right. There's a rope bridge right below him, maybe like 10 feet, a little less. With some careful, like maybe you brought something out on it with you, you might be able to get enough leverage you could just swipe the key. If not, is your tail strong enough that you can stand on it?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, then you could like kind of sit, like lean back on that and swipe up at the key. You might have to jump a little, but the rope bridge is nice and quiet, so you could do that without giving yourself away.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do then.
You bet. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and use instinct again because that's just kind of my MO at this point.
You bet.
Use stealth, climb, which I have ×2.
Whoa.
If I have to jump to reach this, I'm going to use my leap times 3.
Sounds good. You
And
bet.
I have average steps. So that should be enough to get me to 6 there. So. Okay, so I have a 6, 2 4s, and 3 2s.
Nice. You bet. So you get the key effortlessly. Do you have a twist for that? As you hop up in the air and just whoosh.
I'm also going to.
I got an idea.
You do?
Yeah.
See what your idea is, and then
Okay, I just want to toss this out there because it's really funny. Let's say that you put a squirrel turd in his pocket in place of whatever was in there.
I mean, I feel
was
bad
going
because I'm
to-
laughing because that's exceedingly juvenile and I love it anyway.
Well, my idea was I'll tell you my idea, and I'll let the whole group vote as to which one I do. So my idea was to, as I'm swiping the key, I also undo his belt so that whenever he gets up, his pants fall down.
Nice.
Volcano Los Dos. I mean, you got a 6 and 2 5s.
You're right. Why not do
Volcano
both?
Los Dos.
Yeah, I don't see why not. You hop up, you take a squirrel turd, you shove it in the pocket, you swipe the key, and you swipe the belt all in one shot. The chain the
Beautiful.
key is the chain the key is hanging from doesn't even move.
Perfect.
You land on the rope bridge. It sure does look like a friggin' ancient key.
Okay. I'm gonna sneak my way back to the group.
You bet. Nopales, what are you up to? Somebody's out there making friends and checking on enemies. Somebody else has picked up a straggler, and somebody else swiped a key.
Is there like for lack of a better word, like a swap meet or something here, like where they're trying to unload just random crap that they have?
Oh yeah. So on the edge of the dock, most docks have this.
Yeah.
You'd have to go to like the most remote place in the world, and at that point, it's not even really a dock. It's just a place you can kind of put the ship. But any place where even remotely civilized docking occurs, there's hey, I got a bunch of amber chips and metal scrap, and what do you trade me for this much of it? Individually, that shit is worth nothing. But so they trade it by the pound. Most sailors trade in it because if you go to get a drink, you can get it with that. You can't buy a ship with it. You could have an infinite amount of it, and it still wouldn't happen. But you can buy, a week's worth of drinks with a fistful of that slot. So people trade that back and forth. Sometimes there's a bit of metal that's larger. The guy's like, it looks important. I don't know what to do with it. Right. People trade.
So I'm gonna go looking just for like odds and ends, like fixing, especially my new like little thruster that doesn't quite work right now. Just like some stuff to sort of shore that up and get it working correctly. But that's kind of secondary. The real goal is similar to what Azetta was up to, which is just to sort of talk shop with them and get information out of them that way.
Okay. Sounds good. Kind of talk to them about business and pump them for information kind of in between the sentences. Yeah, you bet. Roll for it.
So I'm going to use, I don't see why I couldn't use all of my aspects, sharps and veils for this.
I don't see why not.
And then Shrewd Marketer, I don't remember exactly what that does for me, but I think it lets me count 5s and 4s as like just full successes.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Fancy.
So 2 5s and a 4. And if those are automatic successes.
Nice. You bet. So while you're talking shop, you come up with a couple of whispers, right? A couple of pieces of information. There's the community grinder ship is coming in. It's a huge ship that takes up, it's a couple times a cycle event, right? So that's like once every quarter. People come in, all the small ships get out of the way, right? People do an exterior docking thing. That's expensive. People actually post outside the walls, and people do it anyway, because this huge ship that comes in through the gate comes in, and there's a guy in there who has supposedly, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's probably not true, right? But the story is that he can convert one material into another one. The idea is you hand him the material, he goes in the ship, and he comes back outside with an equivalent weight of the material you handed him and the material that you want. No one knows how he does it. No one's allowed on the ship. And at this point, he's been doing it so long that that guy's going to steal my shit or it's not true. Those don't happen anymore. And he's coming in a couple of days. People are really excited. People sell tickets to this. Sometimes you get a new guy who's only heard of him but never seen it, right? Some people buy tickets who didn't bring any material. They just want to see. It kind of turns into a carnival at this point. There's going to be games and food, and people are actually going to like get along for real, at least for a little while. The essence grinder. There's also mark of a new material design out there. Somebody's figured out how to make their talk is that somebody's figured out how to make the edges of their ship ceramic. So they, like, you ever see one of those Yoshi blades on TV? There's actually a couple of those in my house. They're every bit as sharp as that ad makes them out to be. Those things will cut through a plate. Like, I watched my dad go right through his steak plate with one of those, like it was made out of butter. Holy crap. Like, and somebody's figured out how to put ceramic on the edges of their ships and glide through the branches like butter. No more going around the big iron roots when you come up. You just cut right through it.
Okay.
What was the twist?
Yeah, I don't know. What's something useless we could have on the ship to us? I don't know. Just
Useless?
well, just like some material that I don't view as like useful, and I just managed to score a really solid trade for that for some just good metal bits and bobs.
What materials do you favor?
I would say I probably actually do like prefer working with metal and things like that, and not so much. I don't know. It's a little tricky. I guess not so much like wood and pieces of driftwood and things like that. Not so interested in that as I am metal.
Okay. A guy hands you what looks like a broken iron bound. It's not alive, but it's definitely a broken, like a carcass of an iron bound, and says, you know what? Look, fallen comrade, he's a good friend of mine. I can't. It's going to sound weird. I can't have him on the ship, but I can't bring myself to just throw him overboard either. This is going to sound really weird. You want to trade for him?
I'm going to decline because that seems a little weird, given that one of my shipmates is also an ironbound or an iron.
Yeah, I get that. I appreciate you not looking at me like I'm a freak, though. That really does a lot. And he hands you a plastic, not a plastic. I'm sorry, like a paper twine wrapped, like a really down to earth Christmas gift, right? Paper wrapped with twine, and he hands it to you, and it weighs a good 15 pounds. It's long and narrow, like somebody gift wrapped 2x4s.
Okay. I'm going to ask right before I go, what was his name?
He made me swear I wouldn't tell. I don't know why. Just he wasn't big on having his name said. I called him Horror, though. I don't get the wrong idea. He was a good man. He just sometimes you need to get your enemies to get away from you, and you don't actually want to hurt him. You know, he was real terrifying when he wanted to be. Good man.
All right. When I get back to the ship, I guess I'm going to open up the Christmas package and see what it is.
It is a wooden box, right? When you flip it up, it's a rifle case. You are looking at a Pre-V rifle, like that shoots bullets.
Interesting.
It's very old. It's got what looks like a blade bolted to the top of the front of it. It's got a bayonet on top.
That's interesting. Okay.
Does everybody catch everybody else up to speed?
Yes.
Sounds
We
good.
are being hunted. It's a bad thing right now.
I just pull the key out and kind of like twirl it between my tendrils that are basically my fingers. And after I do a couple little flourishes with it, I just kind of toss it over to Azetta.
You are a god. And she's gonna throw it. She's gonna throw it in. I assume that she has like a good key ring so that when she's moving around, they can't get like popped off. Since,
People can't just be making off with your shit.
People
like
can't
what
just be making
happened.
off with my stuff. It's not a chain. It's a good iron ring that I carry around with
Yeah.
I mean,
Sounds
hell,
good.
it could be a sixth finger, right?
me.
Yeah, why not?
Given what you're made of.
Yeah, it really could be.
Yeah, like the Ketra version of keep it in your bra, just kind of tuck it into yourself. You know what I mean?
That's true. You know what?
Ugh.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it right in my shoulder blade so I know where it is.
Nice.
Try and take that. See, why didn't you
Why
just
didn't
do
he
that?
think
No
of
one's
that?
gonna steal that. Do you want to grab it? No, you don't.
Right. Nobody's putting their hand in somebody else. That's weird, man. I bet there are lots of people out there who would stab you who would not just sink their hand into you like that,
Oh yeah,
right? Like,
definitely.
that's weird. We're at the halfway mark. Does anybody go to the bathroom, get something to eat, coffee, bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
everybody in 15.
All right.
So how's things?
Oh, all right, I suppose.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I figured we got right into it and I didn't really stop to, see how everybody was.
Pretty good.
Oh, good.
So I feel like
Huh.
Jacobite would have something that resembles a pipe. But I know combustion is frowned upon in this.
Pike.
So you're a vapor?
Yeah, maybe. I was just trying to think, is there some sort of mechanic in this world that would be close to a pipe?
Yeah, sure. They make a special kind of, they harvest a special kind of plant that breaks down in a similar fashion. When it can't get enough air, it breaks down in the similar fashion. So you pack it like tobacco when the same thing happens. Tobacco still exists, pipes, and I mean, it's not like fire isn't okay. Smokehouses, because people like roasted meat, right? Smokehouses exist. So do not sweat rooms.
Saunas?
Steam rooms, saunas,
Steam
right?
rooms.
Those places still exist. They just exist in controlled environments in larger ports. Fire is a part of the average sailor's life, just not out on the seas.
Okay. So I can have a pipe then.
Absolutely. Yeah, that kind of fire, meh, you could have one just like regular plain old like Bernie pipe if you wanted. Just, not the kind of thing people are going to give you a look every now and again, but it's not, you're not going to burn a shit down with it,
Gotcha. Good, because I picked up a prop.
You did.
It's not an elephant nose like last time.
You had an elephant nose last time?
The last campaign.
The last time I had a prop, yes.
Oh, I guess I missed it. Nice. Nice. Wait.
So I would say that once Joaquin hands the key over to Ozetta, he's gonna probably notice the person that's with Jacobite
Mm-hmm.
and ask, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah, that was what I was gonna do when we got back to this, is introduce and say, okay, so found a guy. He kind of wants to. You're our guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. It doesn't matter, whatever you are. Just didn't want to be, insulting. Anyway, he says he's pretty handy. I figured the Polys would probably be a pretty good judge of that. Seeing as he's pretty handy too. What do y'all think? Would you like another crew member that might be somewhat skilled?
What's your name, friend?
It was usually I go by Tor.
Tom, if it rhymes with Tom, I'm gonna shoot you right now.
Because it seems like an odd specification. My name is Tor. Tor Rek, holy, but my friends call me Tor, as do my bosses. I don't do very much. I don't take up a lot of space. What I do, I'm very good at. If it needs fixing, I can fix it. I can do it being shot at.
So I'm going, can I test him out?
Absolutely. What did you have in mind?
I'm gonna take him down to that thruster that didn't quite work.
Sure.
And all right, fix it.
Give him just enough parts, but take one thing away. See if he notices.
That one corner piece.
Make it hand him a brand new puzzle with a couple of pieces missing. Right.
Yep.
He looks it over, right? He patches it up and he goes, so I would finish fixing it all together, but I need a foil for this part right here. You don't happen to have one laying around, do you?
I'll hand him the foil of that.
You know that if you pinched the back of this a little bit, made the front of it a little bit wider, you could get more air in the front and more push out the back.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd I do?
Yeah, I'll take him back up and say, I'm good.
Well,
Hey, me, if he's fixing stuff, that'll give me more time to invent things.
goes, oh, good, because I'm not really what you call a lateral thinker. I don't do new. I just do fix the old.
Perfect.
Honestly,
Parlays makes it and Tor keeps it working.
yeah. Honestly, it would be kind of nice to have another competent crew member.
They're not. I mean, he points to the ship. He sees people moving back and forth, and he goes, "They're not."
Just wait, you'll see.
Oh,
One final
They
question,
are-
Tor.
yes,
Very good at babysitting the ship.
They are.
By the way, when we came back, Vaughn was not licking the paint out of the bottom of the paint yet, right?
he was not, though. He does have some in his hair, and you're not sure where he got it from. It's
We
a
don't even
different
have
color.
paint on the ship.
It's a different color than the stuff that you painted the side of the ship with. And he goes,
How? Just how?
"Oh, I found some. He's got what looks like red paint in his hair." And he goes, "I found some in the bottom of the ship.
Red paint.
Okay.
It looks like red paint. Could be blood. Who knows? He's not eating it at any rate. It's in his hair."
This is not good. This is not good.
Joaquin is immediately going to go down to the bottom of the ship.
You bet. It looks like one of your crew members, one of your undercrew, picked a fight with the squirrels and lost. He's got a dent. He's not dead, but he's
Oh, I'm
definitely
like, oh
asleep.
god.
He's got a hole in the side of his head. It's pretty noticeable. He's gonna live, but he's definitely not gonna be walking upright without help for a few days.
You lost to squirrels.
They hit me with rocks. I was just trying to snuggle one of them. Ow, 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 I shouldn't touch that. Ow.
Joaquin
Alright.
gonna pull out.
You see the squirrels at the edge of the hallway going. They have rocks, bloody rocks in their hands.
Okay, maybe not the people who run our ship.
They
But
pointed
people
him.
who-
They go.
Did he make you mad?
He goes, I'll take that question. I may have.
Okay. Well, maybe don't screw with the squirrels anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we give them somebody else to throw rocks at?
Okay.
Ah.
Why don't you go upstairs and take a sit down?
Is it okay if I just sit here?
Sure, just maybe stay out of their throwing range.
Yeah. We came to an understanding. I stopped trying to touch him. They stopped trying to pelt me with rocks.
Fair enough.
Joaquin's gonna pull out just a tiny little bottle of liquor that he keeps in his jacket pocket,
Mhm.
and he's gonna pop the cork and just pour just a little bit into the cut on the guy's head.
Ow, stop. Ow. All right. I won't mess with the squirrels anymore. They're cute.
He's gonna reach down to the guy's shirt and like tear off a strip from his
Uh-huh.
own shirt, and he's gonna wrap it around his head and tie it a little too tight.
All
I
right.
dub this crew member Bomb.
I like- Nice.
Do we need to make Bomb a helmet?
Bomb needs a helmet.
Wrapped in pillows.
We'll make sure it's black that has a couple eyes on it. We'll call him the Bomb. It'll be great.
Nice.
Nice.
A Mario joke that I actually got. Woo! I played like 4 Mario games in my whole life. No, wait, 5. I can add the original Mario Kart, the original, to that list. Recently played that on the SNES. It was a good time. Although I understand that it's much bigger, brighter experience these days.
It's pretty huge on the Switch, yeah.
Yeah. But so is Smash, so there's no accounting for taste.
I
Yeah,
would
no-
play more Nintendo games if they were more affordable to have.
No offense if you love Smash. I was.
Oh no, absolutely. Do your jam, man.
Yeah, right. So when you come outside, Tor has already started greasing some of the ropes and inspecting them for fray. And he says, so I wasn't really gonna bring this up just yet because I'm not real proud of it. But I got this thing for weather. Storms coming in really fast. We should either, I don't mean to tell you what to do, but my suggestion would be that we either batten down the hatches and stay put or leave now.
I vote GTFO.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Especially
between-
after Ozetta said what she said to us, I'm sure.
Yeah, we
between
don't need-
between the bounty and the guy we just stole from, we might want to go.
By the way, hey,
Ah.
Joaquin, I picked up something that you might be interested in,
really.
and I showed him the old rifle.
Joaquin's eyes, or whatever, a simple for his eyes, are get really big.
Nice.
He definitely recognizes what it is, and he gets really excited. And his, but he uses both of his hands and his tendril to very gingerly like pick it out of the box and examine it and kind of flip it over and look. And he's immediately like getting to work trying to like clean out any of the little grime or anything that's left on it.
You bet. It is in immaculate condition. The residue you take off of it looks like it was manufactured yesterday. There is a residue on it, but it's not. It's some sort of grease. You recognize that, given your prevalence with guns. That's a special in-sealer people put on the outside of their rifle to keep it from getting hit by things like acid and fire. And
Okay.
it's a sealant, but the sealant is post-feed. The rifle is not. You pick up, there's a sigil stamp carved into the bottom of it. Those only come from a couple of places, like a maker's mark, but it's a maker's mark by people who refine and take care of old things. Sanus is a fine collector and seller of pre-V artifacts. He lives way to the northern edge of the Wildsea near the Great Wildfire. He thinks it's funny living so close to a thing that can destroy him, but yeah, literally on the edge, right? But he also sells things that explode, and he can't make it any worse, right? So, some people want to test a preview weapon. Well, shoot it into the already existing fire. You can't make it any worse, and you can see if it works.
Fair point.
Nobody sane flies that close. Then again, normal sane people don't do business with him either. So
What was his name?
imagine Sanus. I'm imagining Marcus from Borderlands, but skinnier, substantially taller. And I imagine that Marcus is well groomed. He makes himself something of a ladies' man, and I assume that works at least a little bit. This guy is not. He smells like a bad swamp.
Okay.
Swamp.
Does
So-
he have a Russian accent?
You know, in my mind, he actually sounds like a very, very deep country hillbilly.
Okay.
He opens his mouth, and you can almost hear the banana.
Hit the red.
So
So-
somebody from my neck of the woods or Ty's neck of the woods.
I was about to say, I mean, are we talking East Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana?
Wrong turn. Children of the Corn. Like that.
Not Texas.
So
Yeah, no, I'm not under the. I don't know if that's a specific region or just like a really awful stereotype. I'm not really sure. I haven't been to that much of the South.
In a movie, it's usually a bad stereotypical accent.
Yeah, right.
I
Oh, I don't imagine he. Go ahead. What?
Did this gun come with any ammo?
Oh yeah, you have 8 bullets, and enough gunpowder to fire them all, and another pack's worth of gunpowder. Like you
Okay.
can fire them all and then reload the gun, but you don't have enough bullets to go for that.
Gotcha.
I actually have no idea how a gun works. You don't actually load bullets and gunpowder into the gun at the same time, do you? Those are 2 different things. Gunpowder's in the bullets? No.
Depends on if it's
Depending
a musket
Yeah.
loader or if it's a auto.
Okay, I have no idea how guns work. You have 8 bullets and enough gunpowder to make those work.
8 project. So we'll say that it's a musket then. 8 projectiles and enough
Powder
I'm
pack.
powder
Picturing like
packs
a-
for
I'm picturing
twice
like
as
a
many.
what's what I'm looking for here? Revolutionary War
Yep.
rifle.
Okay.
Got it.
So this one is not super accurate, but it packs a good punch.
Right. It hits like a bus at much less range than
Okay. So this is the gun I'll be using at a closer range than.
I am familiar with how people at the time fought with guns. I'm just not sure how they work.
I am going to say one thing to Joaquin. Just one request that I can draw a blueprint of it.
You can draw what?
I can draw myself let me borrow it every once in a while so I can draw a blueprint of it.
Oh, hands down.
Pinnacles down.
Yeah.
Knuckles down.
So I'm gonna look at Tor and be like, all right, what direction's the weather coming from?
That way. And he points to the way you came from. And he goes, and he does the thing where he puts his finger in his mouth and he goes, oh no, that's gonna be rough. We should go. Again, don't want to tell you what to do. But if we're gonna go, we should go.
Hey, Nepales, is there another gate on the other side?
Absolutely.
Okay, Hang on, everybody.
All right. Let's go.
You bet. I'm not going to be rolled to get out of the town, but after that, you're going to cascade back down into the waves. The gate, you have to go up a little bit. So you roll to make sure you don't butcher that on the way out.
Which I suppose you're driving us again.
Oh yeah, sure. If one of y'all wants to, that's fine.
No, that's cool.
I just grabbed it and went. 6, 3, 2, 1.
You bet.
Nice.
You pilot the ship with no problems. What speed are we talking? Full speed ahead, somewhere in the middle?
I would say closer to full speed, but maybe not balls out.
You bet. Sounds good. You don't like crash through the waves or anything, but you definitely move along, pipe it
We're
in
at
face.
8.5.
You're right, 8.5.
8.5, not 11. Not 11.
Right. You bet. Right, and the ship goes forth. The squirrels have come topside, and they have those rocks from before, and new ones. They've grabbed little bags from the bottom of the ship, like coin purses from another time, and have filled them with rocks. They don't have belts yet, but you've got like the bag in one hand, and in the other hand is a rock. This is good. Kite birds fly by you, which are, imagine a pterodactyl with feathers. Only they're the size of pigeons, and like New York, there are hundreds of them. And they swarm past you and around you like giant, like a horde of bats. And the squirrels, with no expression from you, pelt them with rocks. And they leave you alone. As they fly away, the squirrels go and they hop up and down. One of them eats a nut that he pulls out of, you're not really sure where, best not to ask, right? Eats that, cracks it open, shares it with one of his friends. They take it. Another squirrel reaches for the half, and that squirrel hits him in the head with it and points at the air like you missed, none for you, and eats the other half of it.
So are all these squirrels about the same size, or is there one that's like a little bigger, or one that's like a distinctive leader of these squirrels?
You have two that are a little wider, though I'm not sure like muscle is what's making them wider. They definitely look like they eat more than the others. And you've got one that's a good half squirrel taller than all of the others, who's definitely in charge.
Okay, that one, I'm going to give him the belt that I took from that one dude, so that he can have a belt for his stuff.
He looks at that. He looks at, you have a belt on, right? He looks.
Yes.
He adds it up very quickly.
I'm going to mine for him too, just to help.
You bet. He gets that on. He kind of looks at the bag and adds that one up and kind of attaches to the side. He goes, and all the squirrels hop up and down and clap, and then look sad because you watch them go ding. We don't have belts, right?
I'll kind of gather that, and I'll tell them, don't worry. Next time we stop somewhere, I'll get everybody a belt.
But you got to hit something.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Belts are for winners.
No missers.
For winners.
Just kind of an outside of the game thing. As we're traveling, I would like, as Joaquin, I would like to try to work with these squirrels to try to help teach them how to improve their aim and stuff.
Sounds good. Many of them miss, so that's a good idea. The kite birds are, like bats. You screw up the patrol a little bit and they all disperse, which is to say the end result was not indicative of the success rate with thrown rocks. One of them throws a nut and the others give him shit for that. What the hell's wrong with him?
Not the food, dude.
Right?
Not
Not
the
the
food.
food, right? They go to, they pick him up and they're going to throw him. And the big one's like, and they look at him like, what? And he goes, I have the belt, right? He points to the belt and they put him down.
I dubbed the one that was going to get thrown Chuck.
Nice. At this rate, they're all going to have names. You have 6 squirrels. They're all very antsy to hit things, even if only 2 of them are really good at it. The one with the belt and the one that threw a nut. He did actually hit one of those birds with a rock, and then kind of got ahead of himself. As you fly through the ocean, Tor is right. An immense storm comes through immediately. You can hear it pelt down behind you before you're out of eyesight. You do not outrun it fast enough. The storm engulfs over the top of your ship. It rains many sticks. Many sticks, some of which are jagged, most of which are the length of a human arm. We're talking like 3-foot jagged sticks that pelt from the sky. Would you make what amount to dodge saves to get out of the way? Those of you who are above decks, anyway. Joaquin, are you in the crow's nest?
Yeah.
Shave one of your dice off. You have less wiggle room.
Okay.
Use grace.
631 for me.
Nice. You bet.
Leap is all I've really got.
Highest I got was a 3.
Rough.
I had 521.
5-2.
5-2. You bet. So Jacobite, you take that with no problems. Here's a question. I said dodge, but I mean, you're a big ship. Do you dodge or do they just bounce off you? Like gnats off a yak's back. They just,
I do have a dodge skill,
okay.
but I was using iron because, you know,
Right. Like I have a dodge. Well, I'm not going to call it a skill. I can dodge. Often I choose not to.
Yeah.
Like,
often it's better to brace for it. No, I was using irons and brace.
so you just took it. What do you bet?
Mhm.
The sticks bounce off of you. A couple of smaller ones kind of set in you, and you're just beefier now. If you have a durability track for your character, feel free to increase that by 1.
All right.
Joaquin, what was the highest number you got? Was that a 5?
Yeah.
You bet. So you dodge mostly, but one of your clothing gets ripped up pretty bad. Yeah, the left sleeve on whatever it is that you're wearing gets a pretty big rip in the side of it. And you notice that whatever's on that stick, they're probably not poisoned so much as came off of a poisonous plant. You should get that cut looked at. It's starting to turn black quickly. It looks like a burn mark.
So I'm actually going to pull out some Sorvine extract that I have, and the PDF it said something about it has healing properties. So I'm
Right.
gonna slather that over the cut,
You bet.
and
It dries up and goes back to normal in a couple of seconds. Solvine is really impressive stuff. It's hard to come by, but it'll patch anything from it'll patch a minor contusion or cut or bruise instantly, and a major one in like a minute and a half.
okay. So would you say that used the entirety of the extract, or that would just use like a little bit?
A little bit, you bet.
Okay.
I'm not even sure I'd shave that off your character sheet. A
Okay.
little bit.
Okay.
Because while it is a nasty mark, it's also only like this big because the edge of a stick ripped you. Napoleon,
So it's like
Go ahead.
using a bottle of ointment and just squeezing a little bit of the ointment.
Yeah,
over.
right. I'm not even sure it's a discernible amount, right? Napoleon, what'd you get?
5 and a 2.
You bet. Same thing. You got pelted with sticks. One of them catches the side of your sleeve and gets down into your skin. And you get what looks like an ugly burn mark, like somebody hit you with a cigarette. Unless you're immune to that kind of thing. What did you get? Was that a 3?
I got a 3.
You bet. One of those plugged you right between the eyes and your vision's all screwed up. Oh, wait a minute. You're made of goo. That's actually
I'm made of goo.
That's actually much worse. The stick sticks in your head and that
Wow.
toxin circulates through your body. Take a track mark off of one of your squishy bits.
Okay, let's see. That would probably be. I have something that lets me go through small spaces, so I'll take it off of that when I figure out what that's called.
You bet. This storm doesn't look like it's gonna let up. You see Tor head downstairs and holler for you, and he goes, again, don't want to tell you what to do, but I'm gonna stay down here. And you hear him close the doors.
Hey, maybe we should all go down below decks. This is like a good plan. Let's go down below decks.
Should we,
Yeah, I say as I rip the thing out of my
should
head
we,
and throw it to the side.
should we drop anchor, or should we just leave the ship as it is?
So I was about to say is I imagine that being a former ship myself and being us all being sailors, we know how to handle storms, at least to a degree. So I would say the rest of them could go on down and I'll finish up getting
Okay.
us prepared and then join them.
Do you drop anchor or do you let the ship coast? There's a lot of wind.
There's a lot of
Wind.
wind. I'm sorry. I don't know. What do y'all think?
would it be helpful if we lowered down a bit, like under the tree line? Or would that
Probably be worse.
Yeah, I mean, if we drop the anchor, it's gonna pull on that, but if we don't, we're probably gonna drift a lot if there's that much wind.
Mhm.
I think
I assume we have sails, so we're probably gonna drop those down too, so that they're not open.
Catching the wind and getting screwed up. You bet.
since I'm already up in the crow's nest, I'll work on the sails if you want to start working on the anchor or whatever you're gonna do.
Sounds
Squad.
good. You want to have your undercrew look after this? What are you nuts? Okay.
No.
You looking to
I'm
die?
talking about like, take down the sails and all that though. I mean, that's what they're good for.
Oh yeah, they can handle that. I thought you meant like the sailing the ship while you all go down underneath. I'm like,
No,
look, on a meta level, that is a terrible plan.
No, no, no.
Like that.
No.
You want them to like babysit while you all go down?
No, I just want them like helping taking down the sails. and
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
you bet. So anyone who's going to help, make a check for that. Since you're going to have the undercrew help you, there's a bunch of them. Add 2 dice. You'll succeed in either case, but if you make the roll, you'll succeed now and not get tilted again.
I will say Ozetta will sit on the deck and give instructions to the undercrew. So I am going to pull Hull-Hearted,
Okay.
which is increase the impact of any success action.
You just want to say wholehearted.
It's what it's called. So
Sounds
once per scene, I can increase the impact of any successful action while we're
good.
on the ship.
You bet.
So I had 2 4s and a 2.
Nice. You bet. So what do you want your twist to be? You succeed, but you batten down the hatches, right? You pull down the sails, right? You go to, are we dropping anchor or not?
Yeah, I think we better.
Okay. Joaquin like loses the anchor. He lets out too much. You don't lose the anchor or anything. It just goes way down. It's going to take longer than normal to retrieve. What twist did you want?
On the way down, the anchor hits one of the where the creepy wolves.
A pinwolf?
Yeah, pinwolf. It hits a pinwolf and kills it.
Nice. You bet. And you'll know that because later on when you pull the anchor up, there'll be dead pinwolf carcass like wrapped around it. Because it went through it like a turkey, like a knife in a turkey at Thanksgiving.
And Joaquin's going to tell everyone that he did that on purpose.
Of course. He doesn't know he didn't, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's his pinwolf 6th sense. Jacobite, what'd you get?
532.
Nice. You bet. And you take the sails down without too much difficulty. You overdo it on one of the beams that they're attached to, and you crack it. You should probably get that looked at. It's going to sail, but you probably shouldn't suffer it in too much more wind. Nepalese, what'd you get?
552.
5, 5, and a 2. You bet. You zip around the place. You literally do the battening, right? You bolt everything down to make sure everything's not going to move. You crack one of the barrels on the side of the ship. And while the barrel's not going to go anywhere, the wood out the side causes the inside to get lost. You lose a bunch of food over the side of the ship. What's your twist is?
Let's say that the food, like that the food kind of blows back in all the wind and the squirrels get it.
Nice. You bet. So you still lose it, but they don't, right?
But they're fat and happy, so
yeah, right.
kind of a win.
They're enjoying this, by the way. They love the wind. They hop up a little bit and blow around like a kite and then land back down. You watch one of them go, because he goes too far, grabs a branch and does some awkward parkour to get back on the ship. Ozetta, what'd you get?
Since I was doing Hull-Hearted, I didn't roll since I was
That's right, you
affecting
didn't
everybody
roll.
else.
You bet. So the good news is, there's a screw up here, a screw up there, but it's little stuff. And with Ozetta's extra impact, you do all of this in record time. You dance between the branches and you get downstairs with no problem. The ship's not going anywhere. Tor is sucking his thumb in the fetal position in the corner of the ship, doing a lot of this.
I'm just gonna sit next to him and just be like, "It's all right, buddy." Rub his back.
He goes, you don't understand. It's not just a storm. It's a stick storm. Stick storms come with stick throwers.
Would we know what this meant?
Well, yeah, stick throwers are, if you took a kite and a treant and fuse them into one creature, they're giant like stick monsters that sail on storm clouds, and they hate all living things that are not one of them.
Cool.
They see sailors as like they're the other end of a patron saint. Like you're sailing on their territory. I think the term I'm looking for is xenophobic hatred.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Pretty sure that's
So
what I'm looking for.
Would you say that they're pretty flammable?
Oh yeah, I sure would. Like, they're about as flammable as very, very, very bone dry kindling can get.
Nepalis?
On it. Tor goes, wait, what?
I love how we know fire is not supposed to be something we use, and it is our first choice every time.
Yep.
Screw it. Kill with fire.
Kill the fire.
Oh,
Tor says, you're not.
Kills them.
What was that?
They only hate fire because it kills them.
Well, yeah, that's the idea. Oh, you're not actually gonna look. You want my advice? I know you didn't ask for it. You stay down here and we just ride out the storm. You drop anchor, right? We'll be fine. You're not actually going up there and fight with that thing, are you? What are you, crazy? And you hear on the top of your ship, like
The
two
squirrels
heavy.
are going to be okay, right?
They're down here with you.
Oh, okay. I thought they stayed up.
My question for Tor is, do these stick throwers damage ships, or do they just take out the sailors?
I've watched them destroy ships, but in pursuit of people who sail them. They don't. I've never seen one. I mean, I've only seen a couple. I've only been on the one voyage, but it was long. And anyway,
So
what
so
you're
they're
saying
coming
is
down
it's
here.
still a problem.
They
Say
know
again?
that we're here. They know
yes, yeah, of course, yes.
try to kill the ship because they know that we're here. So we need to kill it.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I'm going to regret this. What do you want me to do?
Well, so we have a couple blast bows up there, and we have a couple of special canisters. Here, why don't you do this? And actually,
Specifically 10 pounds of special canisters.
I'm actually going to go find some of our clover dust, and I'm just going to like pull a tiny bit out and say, "Here, lick this," and just like shove my finger in his mouth.
And he falls over.
There we go.
Hey, that tastes pretty good. Boom. And he's on the floor. Nose, blood leaking out of his nose. That's broken.
Well, now
Nom, watch him.
You bet. And he goes, okay, but I mean, he's asleep. What's to watch?
I mean, if we start rolling around, make
Oh, I
sure he
see.
doesn't get hurt in the process.
Right. You watch him grab him by the ankles and pull him into the other room and tie him up. Right there on the floor.
Perfect.
It goes great. He's not going anywhere, but I'll keep watching him.
All right.
And he gets very close and he does the.
Oh, you guys are sweet. What is the southern thing? Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
All right, let's go kill some trees.
Yep. So I guess I'm going to go up top
Mhm.
and rig one of our little, drug specials, so to speak, and extremely flammable drug specials.
You are, when you get up stop, you are looking at what in my head is a Slender Man made out of sticks.
Oh, that's
Um,
horrifying.
Like pacing back and forth. It's more like whooshing, like its legs. You're not even sure they actually touch the ship, and it doesn't make any noise at all except for the creaking of branches as it as it whooshes back and forth across the ship. When you get up top, it immediately turns around. Yes, Joaquin.
So there's only one of them.
There's only one of them.
Okay, Joaquin's immediately going to pull out his hammerpin revolver and start firing.
Okay, yeah, sure, you bet. Roll for it. Remind me what your hammerpin revolver fires.
I right now I have actual like metallic bullets.
Okay, cool
Uh,
beans.
I did want to say earlier though, Joaquin has some ideas for Nepales for the future. Whenever we gather the materials, if he is willing to make some special bullets.
So right now you're firing for impact damage.
Yes.
You bet.
And I got 3 5s and a 2.
Nice. You bet. You tear through him. You bet you do. You go right through him. The branches fall apart. They like break like bone and scatter all over the place. And you watch them almost immediately start to swirl back up and kind of and snap towards the body. But I mean, direct hit for sure. What twist did you want? Did you have an
Whenever he
idea for
comes
that?
back together,
Mhm.
can he come back together like in a different way to where like his head is actually his arm now?
You bet.
So it's like really awkward for him.
To move around, you bet.
Yeah.
So on the one side, you're not sure you did any lasting damage. On the other hand, his arms are where his legs should be, and his head is kind of like in his stomach area. So a stick thrower is very humanoid in shape. They have like a head and neck, forearms, right, the whole bit. Some of them come in different sizes. Some of them have tails. Some of them don't. This one looks very much like a 6-foot human. Nepales, what's the plan? You got yourself a drug bomb?
While Joaquin is firing, I'm going to use his cover fire to get to the blast bow.
Okay, sounds good. You bet.
And then, smile, you son of a bitch. And
Wait a second.
Are you gonna shoot the blast bow at our own ship?
Yeah,
Wait a
so-
second. Hold on. I got a plan.
So does he.
Yeah, I got a better plan.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's a pretty great plan.
No, it's a great plan. I'm just putting a twist on his plan.
I see.
I mean-
I
hopefully the blast bow carries him off the ship as well. I mean, it's not just going to stick here around. It's like there's enough momentum there, right?
If you roll a 6, like
Actually, I figure on this one, I figure I can actually probably roll up to 6 dice, so I should be okay theoretically.
theoretically.
How brave y'all feeling? Come on, stupid plans are the best plans.
They are. No arguments here. But I'm not the one rolling dice or suffering from the rolling of
They
said
are.
dice. So
but I have a prow hammer that I can do bludgeoning damage to him and possibly maybe knock him off first.
Oh, that's even better. I see what you're wanting to do. I'm down.
Okay. As Joaquin is firing, I am charging with my prow hammer.
you bet. Walk me through what that is. Is that what I think it is? What is essentially a giant like block and you just push?
It's a piece of the prow of the ship that I used to be.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like, so you're just gonna hit this guy like a baseball bat.
Yeah, it's a big ass baseball bat.
You
I'm gonna try to take a sweeping motion, more like a wow, that got me really blurry. Sorry
Sweep
about
the
that.
leg. That's okay.
More like a golf swing, to
Alright.
try to get a little elevation on him.
Right, like an uppercut with a stick.
Yeah, Pretty much to try to get as much of him as I can in the air. Okay, so that's, and when it's tracks, how many dice does that mean you can roll? Is it the track number or
Pardon? You have tracks for your thing?
it's 4-track gear is what it is.
4-track meaning it has 4 tracks. It can take damage.
Okay, that's
it-
what it's for. Okay. Let me do that again then. 5-4.
You have 2 dice for
I'm
that?
sorry.
That's
I'm
it?
sorry. Well, I'm using iron, so I got 2 irons. I meant 6-4, not
Okay,
5-4.
there you go. You bet. You come in you hit hard and heavy and right, you lift him up into the air. He's gonna go up, he's not gonna go over. Nepales, do you want to shoot him now that he's up in the air?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to use my sharps because this is like calculated a little bit.
You bet.
Strike and break. thought I could get 6, but I can definitely get 4 out of this. So here we go. 6, 6, 5, 1.
Nice. So direct hit, center mass, like a pretty firework explosion. Whatever's stuck to the sticks he's made out of change color when they get set on fire. So there's the red and purple you were expecting, as long as this brilliant, as well as this brilliant emerald green as little bits of him down onto the deck and burn up into nothing. What twist did you want?
That like just enough of his body survives that we can kind of analyze what the heck this toxin mess was that was covered in him.
You bet. Sounds good. That's androsa toxin. You're familiar with it. Well, more specifically, Ozetta's familiar with it. Androsa toxin is a paralytic agent that only comes from the very bottom, the darkness under eaves and the sink and the layer in the middle there. That's ugly stuff. If you get that in your skin, you're talking a series of saves until you eventually fail and die. It's ugly, nasty stuff.
Wonderful. Is that what's affecting us?
No.
Okay, good.
No. What you have is a headache that you'll want to
Okay.
take time off to deal with. Because it's more it'll be like a concussive syndrome, like except you can cure it. But you're not gonna like freeze up and die or anything.
Okay. I'm
You're
like,
just gonna
oh God.
You're just gonna have double vision until you take some time off. Speaking of, you could right now. The sticks let up, but the awful wind and rain doesn't. I mean, I don't know if you're used to sleeping underneath all that howling noise, but you're as safe as you can be. All the ambient wildlife has left too, right? So there are no creatures in the trees staring at you. They don't want to get pelted with sticks either.
We might as well ride it out. It's better than getting pushed around.
Joaquin's already asleep in the crow's nest.
Nice.
He's just back up there.
He's like, I did a thing.
Is it really louder than the gang's snoring?
Say again?
Really louder than the gang snoring?
No.
I mean,
No. There's like a bunch of Paul Bunyans down there cutting down forests at a time. It's bad. If you sleep in the same general area as them, by which I mean the same level of the ship, you will not hear the rain outside.
They gave me the captain's quarters. I don't know what you're talking about.
So when the rest of you head downstairs, Tor he looks at you with huge eyes. Like, wait, you're alive, and more than that, you look unharmed.
More than I can say for Stickman.
What now? You killed a stick thrower?
Fairly easily, honestly.
I didn't know
Pretty
they
sure.
lived. Well, I know that, and you know that because you have like drug bombs, but he doesn't know that, right? Like, he has woken up, and the looker after her has let him up, and he comes to you and he's like, he said he was going to be nice, so I unroped him.
No,
I'm
fair enough.
keeping my eye on him though.
Did a good job.
He is. He's walking like right behind him. If Tor stops short, that dude's going to bump into his back.
Did a good job. Why don't you go take a break? We'll take it from here.
You bet. And he runs upstairs to go find a room to sleep in. He trips and falls on the way up the stairs.
They're good
Especially-
people.
Takes a special kind of talent to fall up.
Yes, it does.
Do you want to like fall in and go to sleep and weather out the storm?
I think it's a good idea.
You bet. Feel free to heal a damage track anywhere you have one.
Yay.
In the morning, you are woken up to this horrible screeching sound, not from your slug.
Okay, I was like, God damn the slug.
I actually meant to ask while we were in the storm if the slug was still making noise.
Yeah, no, the slug stops when the rain starts. So when you wake up, you're woken up by the sound of this awful, like high pitched, like iron being like ground down to nothing, like metal squeal. What was that? What's with the eyes? What was that?
because I think I know where this is going,
You do?
or at
Oh,
least part
good.
of it.
Oh, good. Where do you think I'm going with this?
I think something's happening with our anchor.
Oh,
When do you head topside? I mean, there's a
Oh, I
horrible
do.
sound. You bet.
I feel like it's everybody up when we hear a sound
Yeah.
like that.
Joaquin's gonna try to look over the side from his vantage point.
You bet. The anchor's still attached, but the ship is sinking. It hasn't been damaged or anything, but you're definitely going down. There's a like something's pulling you down in jerks.
Okay, you realize that we can't use the drug bombs down there, right?
I don't know that. I don't know nothing.
Oh, I was talking to our crew. It's like, yeah. You realize we can't use the drug bombs down there, right, guys?
Polite society says you can't use them where you did. Like
Technically,
even
we
impolite
could.
society says you can't do that.
Technically, we could.
All right. Well, what's stopping you? Yeah.
I had to go up in flames all around us too. See, that's the problem.
Well, it did just rain.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a dredger thing here.
Sure.
I will jump off the ship and go down the chain to see what's down there.
Because you're out of your mind. You
Because
bet.
why not? I mean, we don't know how to deal with the situation until we know what's down there. So I'm not gonna go like all the way down. I'm gonna go down far enough to see what's happening.
You want to? You bet. You want to do like a base jump followed by a parkour chain slide because you're nuts. You want to roll for that?
Yeah, hell yeah, I do. All right, what do I got for a bunch of this? So I have my grace, which I will use. Let's see. I'll use my wholehearted because I'm not failing this one.
Under his breath, Joaquin, whenever she does that, Joaquin just is like, damn, that's cool.
So I'm going to use my sense and my scramble, which lets me go through small spaces, and I guess my wave walk, because I'm kind of doing that.
Sounds good.
All right. So what? Come back here. I got a 6, 5, 5, 2, 1.
Sorry, say that again. You got a 6 what?
6, 5, 5, 2, 1.
You bet. So you effortlessly slide your way down. I mean, graceful ballerinas have nothing on you as you go down the chain. I heard the twist in there when you got down to the bottom. Well, not to the bottom. When you see something, is that when you stop?
Yeah. So as long as I can make out what it is, that's when I would stop.
You bet. You were looking at what looks very much like Jacobite. It's definitely a living collection of ship parts, only it's the whole ship grafted to another whole ship, grafted to another whole ship.
Okay.
And this big, like, I'm going to call it a hand, but it's really the vestigial remains of like, it's a hand of broken woody bits of ship, right? It's an iron bound. It's just like the size of an island, has grabbed the chain, and in its hand, it looks like a toothpick, and it's just pulling it. It's pulling you down with its thumb.
Oh, okay.
What twist did you want in there?
Okay. So then for, I guess my twist is seeing that and knowing, like being able to identify that it is an ironbound.
If it's not, I mean, who knows what it is?
Yeah. So I assume it has some sort of, sentience to it. So I'm going to grab out my ceremonial dynamite.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I have something called ceremonial dynamite. I assume it's like a firework of some kind that just puts out pretty
Fantastic.
colors. Like that's just my assumption because I can't find anything else in here about it.
People ask me all the time, how come you don't keep track of your players' gear? Because I don't get to go, I'm sorry, what? When
I'm
I already
sorry,
know
what
they
is
have. Like,
So I am going to light my ceremonial dynamite and throw it down there. So when it goes off, it might at least surprise them for half a second to let go.
mhm.
And then I'm going to scream, pull it up.
Up, damn it, up.
Up.
You bet. Speaking of which one of you is at the wheel?
Well, I don't know if anybody's at the wheel just yet. I think we'd all be looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when it's go time, I guess I would go unless strength is needed.
You bet. I mean, yeah, somebody's gonna have to move the anchor. Him letting go of it doesn't, it doesn't roll back into the ship on its own. It's not like a little snapback dog leashes.
Squad, run.
Like they run over to start pulling on the anchor as her ceremonial dynamite. What the hell explodes in this?
I
big-
saw it. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking that.
What is that? I mean, what does that look like? It's ceremonial, so it's a big deal. Are we talking like Jubilee fireworks? Does it create like a dark mark in the sky? Copyright, you can't do that. No, I mean, what does it do?
I guess my assumption is like I said, I feel like it's like a type of firework, but just because I want it to get the twist, for some reason I have one that was like had extra packing in it, so it goes off and it's like the last of the fireworks. So there's just a bunch of colors going in a really large area, and it's
Nice.
loud.
You bet. The creature does not let go of the chain, but it does stop fussing with it for a second. You watch its grip loosen, but it doesn't let go. In that moment, Jacobite, she yells, the schmucks, right, run over to get the chain and start pulling. What do you do?
At that point, do any of us know what it is, or is just over that?
She's the only one who can see it. So unless she
Okay.
said, "Hey, it's a giant one of you,"
I think she just said go.
I just said up.
you can all hear it though, because when the fireworks go off, there's this incredibly low but very loud droning sound that comes from below you.
That's a big hand.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go up there and crank the throttle, pull back on the stick, and try to maybe break free or
You bet.
or something.
Sounds good. What do you think there, Nopales, while Jacobite rolls for how we did?
Yeah, I really don't know what to think. I just know that there's like weird sounds and that she's saying go. So it's like, okay, let's go. So I guess I'll go down there and engage our little thruster if that's what we're going to do.
Okay. Sounds good. Joaquin, are you doing anything specific? I know you're up in the crow's nest, like alert. Are you doing anything specific?
I feel like at this point, like whenever after she had jumped down, he would have pulled out his long rifle so he could kind of keep an eye on her. And
Sounds good.
So I don't know if he can see the hand or not, but
Through your rifle scope, you can. You bet.
okay. So he's gonna just whenever she does her ceremonial firework and it doesn't do anything, he's gonna just start trying to shoot the thing. Shoot the hand.
Sounds good. I almost forgot, Jacobite. You may or may not suffer one cut depending on what Joaquin rolls.
Okay.
Shoot it. Shoot it.
Okay.
Shoot him dead.
Yeah, I'll do that. But I got a 5, 2 4s, and a 1.
You bet. Sounds good. You shoot him. You strike true. Some of the plating, some of the thumb comes off, right? But the fingers, they fall off. But as you do that, the arm spins around. So the anchor is stuck in whatever it's stuck in, but the creature is not holding you. Jacobite, roll with one cut because you're trying to get the ship to move while you have it anchored-ish. I mean, the anchor is not all the way up yet.
5-1-1.
5-1-1. You bet. You get it to move. It doesn't move well. It pitches. It tilts a little bit to the left because whatever side your anchor's on. Is it on the left?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know if I didn't know if in your mind you had a specific place where the anchor is. What to the left side of the ship tilts a little bit more because you got external weight. Your crew's doing the best they can, but it's a big heavy anchor, and none of them are exactly Arnold in his prime. What twist did you have planned?
Let's say that the jerk helped Ozetta get back up faster.
Sounds good.
The jerk that happened.
Right, and Ozetta, the chain kind of snaps you up into the air, and you free fall onto the deck, and you look badass while doing it.
Superhero landing.
Yeah, right.
So bad for the knees.
Yeah, right. So bad for the knee. And the knuckles too, right?
Yes.
Like, ow. My
Just
knuckles
punch
hurt
the
to think
ground
about.
always works well.
Yeah, right. From like 6,000. If you're Superman, you can do that from outer space. Like, the ship moves. You bet. And you get out of there with, I mean, a little bit of sticks, a little bit of word for wear, right? A little bit of sweat, but no real problems. The undercrew, having peered through the hole where the chain is when they were pulling it up, they walk away all stammering and flapping and go, and they just walk over to the edge, like the doors, and they sit down. They are not sure what they just saw. But after that, you make it to where you're going with no problems.
So I will explain to them what I saw just so that they kind of have an idea of what just happened. So there was like 3 of them and they had a big hand. It was really weird. Threw a firework at him. It was great.
Tor comes up to you and says, hey, sorry, that was the wrong one. I was thinking bomb, excuse me, not Tor. Bomb comes up to you, right? And goes, so while you were out there, while you were docked, we took the liberty of getting you an updated map.
Ooh. Thanks, guys.
So we good news and bad news. Good news is we know where we're going. Yay! Bad news. It looks like they look at, and he hands you the map, and it shows you a picture of where there's a little depiction of where you're going with a huge skull stamped on the top of it.
Wonderful.
Yay!
And you come across that well enough when you get, like, you know what that is pretty soon when you get there, right? It's not the kind of place that's walled in or anything. It's a heavily armed place and everybody knows it. It's a huge dock. It's like an industrial type thing. It's like the village you were just in, except much more of it is metal. There's no chime problem. People die in the street all the time. Bad deals go bad. They go real bad. But by and large, people agree to that murder is not morally wrong or anything. It's just inconvenient. So when you roll in, everybody looks green, and I literally, they all look like they've got this green taint on their skin where you can see it. Everybody coughs, but nobody acts differently than they ordinarily do. If you're here for ship parts, have any of you been here before?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say walking this for sure.
Jack's shop is the place to go. Spelled Jax. He's a big, angry human, supposedly descended from one of the first humans, like when, who sailed. But who cares if the story's true? The prices are good, and he won't screw you over.
Yeah, I've actually smuggled some stuff for him before, so
Sounds good. If you deal with him, feel free to roll an extra die, assuming that you didn't screw him over on those smuggling deals. Like if your relationship is positive. Say again.
I said not that he knows of.
Nice. If your relationship is positive, feel free to roll an extra die.
Yeah.
As soon as everybody gets off the ship, people give Jacobite a hard time, and Nepalese a hard time. Joaquin, remind me what species you are.
I'm a gal.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. The only person they don't give a hard time is 2OZ. The place is mostly human and other human dominated culture. So they don't like harass you or anything, but they spit where you pass. They call you mean names after you walk by them, that sort of thing.
I feel like having been here before, I would have warned Nepalese and Jacobite that this is kind of how it's going to go down.
Sounds good.
Just say the word. We'll shank a bitch. It's fine.
We'll just stab them. It's fine.
We can do that here, apparently.
Sure can.
Stab them, blow them up. I mean, really, are we picky about how we do this?
You bet.
We've already started 2 fires. Why not a third?
Speaking of fires, there is a large open fire. A bunch of idiots are exceedingly drunk and have started what amounts to a burn pile in the middle of town. The town doesn't have much for like guards. Most people just kind of sort themselves out. It's a fairly lawless place, but a bunch of the townsfolk have decided that it's not okay, right? And all that's leading to is an open mob with lots of death. But those people are right. You can see it from here. That fire is awfully close to a dock made of wood. Up to you. I understand you came for ship parts. Jack's would be the place to get those. Not the only place. You can see from here, there's been new construction and there's a lot of business coming out of that.
Before we get too hasty here, just kind of peruse the ships real quick that are in this dock that might catch fire. Recognize any of them that might belong to our previous captain?
Oh,
So you size them up real quick. You see a ship that might be your previous captain's ship, but if it is, he repainted it. The paint is new, maybe. Is there anything specifically distinctive about your captain's old ship that would like be a dead giveaway?
What's that like on the prow? He has like this thing where he hangs the skulls of crew members who have displeased him.
What you're saying is the future sight of your heads.
got to catch us first.
Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. So you don't see a ship like that, but you do see a ship that the figure on the front is a giant skull. And it, a quick glance, it is made of many smaller skulls. Like somebody went out of their way to make a very creepy paper mache project. You hear this what sounds like screaming, wailing, maybe people in pain coming from inside of that ship.
Or is there something this captain of ours likes to do?
I'm not sure. You tell me. All I know is that you ditched him. I don't know why. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know his name. I don't know. He's your ex-captain. You tell me.
It was convenient to work for at the time, but dude's crazy.
Okay. Like Vlad the Impaler crazy?
If he has skulls of his crewmates, I'm kind of assuming so.
Okay. Okay. Sounds
Maybe
good.
not full murder hobo, but close.
Okay. Up to you.
Maybe we just let this fire run its course.
Tell you what, guys, I'll just stay on the ship. And if it gets too close, then I'll just back away.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
How about that?
they started this problem. They can take care of it, right?
Sure.
I kind of stand out anyway. So if there is a chance that it's old Captain douchebag, dipshit, whatever it was.
Did we give him a name?
I don't
No.
think you did.
No. I'll just call him Captain Douchebag, and then we can name him whatever we want.
All right.
Sounds good.
If it is him, he would recognize me for sure. So I will just stay on the ship and try to stay mostly hidden. But watch.
Your ship?
Yes.
Sounds good. What is everybody else up to?
So I'm going to let the others know about Jax's shop and say, hey, if we need to get any ship parts, this is the guy we want to go to. I've had some business with him in the past, done him some favors. He's done some for me. Might be able to get a little bit of discount.
Yeah, and we are flush with currency thanks to Nepales. So
I'm going to talk to, what's his name? I should have written down the repair dude. About,
Tor?
like,
Or
Or
yeah, what do we need?
to repair what's missing on the ship right now, to repair what's already there, or to make the whole thing better? Are we talking upgrades or just patches?
Let's go for upgrades. Why not?
Okay. Well, if it were me, I would get some oil for the outside of the ship, some grease. One, it'll make it sail a little bit smoother through the branches. Two, rain, sweat, that sort of thing tends to degrade the wood. Solve that problem. It's not permanent. It's an upkeep cost. It's a never-ending bill. But so is the ship. I would get new ropes. I would change out that ballast. And I don't mean to be rude, but the big guy, the nice one who invited me, he cracked a bar up there. But we should fix that. And I don't want to be that kind. I don't want to be that guy. But a couple of those sails looking.
Okay. I'll just take a note of everything he says and say, okay, well, let's go talk to Jax here.
Oh, well, yeah. Whoa. No. I don't really do people. It took everything I had to talk to the
No,
folks.
not you. You're fine. You stay here.
Oh, good. Excellent.
We're gonna do the talking.
Oh, excellent. I'm going to stay here. You bet. I'll look at besides. And he points to, your crew of chumps. And he goes, they need babysitting.
They really do.
While we're gone though, you can go ahead and dip into the parts and bits that we already have and see if there's anything you can use to start working on some of these repairs.
Can do. Oh,
Don't
I almost forgot.
touch the squirrels. They
You
bite.
bet. You bet. I almost forgot. Maybe it's just me, but I thought the ship was pitching a little bit more than it should. Maybe that's just how you drive it. But I don't think maybe 2 or 3 large counterweights in the bilge would be a terrible idea. Maybe something big, heavy, concrete, not metal. Anyway.
Noted.
And from there, do you head off into town?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Does anybody go to the fire over Jax's shop? No? All right, just checking. You bet.
Sounds like a good distraction from us.
You bet. When you get inside, right, you see Jax inside working with a bunch of customers. Somebody's getting out of hand. Jax, you've seen this before. Jax will offer, the amount they agreed on. After something's delivered, things tend to go wrong. They're like, hey, we suffered more stress. We want more money. And he goes, that's the job, right? I don't pay you more money just because you got shot at. It's a smuggling job, right? And they press him for more money and he beats them up. He's a Zealocray. He's got eyeballs where he doesn't need them and way too many legs. Joaquin, you've traded with him before. What's he like, personality-wise? Is he crude? Is he nice? Does he swear? Does he spit?
He definitely feels like the barkeep that knows a little too much.
You bet.
But he does have a kind side.
Okay.
Every once in a while that shows through.
Okay. Anything particular that triggers that? Is he got like a little girl or something?
Let's say that he has a pet that he loves dearly.
You
Some
bet.
sort of dog type creature.
You bet. So he's got a pin wolf with 3 legs, right? He loves that thing.
And Joaquin hates that thing.
I have no doubt.
That's the root of Joaquin's hatred for pinwolves.
It makes you feel better.
For Jax, this thing would nip at him and like take a chunk out of his leg or something.
I was just gonna say, I feel like Tripod hates you back. Like
Tripod?
Yeah.
So he sees you and he goes, 1 second. And the guy he beat up doesn't stop arguing with him. So he just stabs him in the neck with a knife. And he looks at the remaining people in line and he goes, look, I don't argue. Okay. Job's a job. If that's a problem, get out. A couple of them leave and he goes, yeah, that's what I thought. And he deals with the rest of them. You wait a couple minutes, right? He talks fast and then your turn. And he goes, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. Sorry, little blood in my eye. What's up?
Been busy. Joined up with a new crew.
Oh yeah,
Been.
I heard about that. Captain's looking for you.
Yeah, he's a little bit crazy. We decided it wasn't worth the effort.
He ripped that guy in half a bit.
So if he comes looking, then we definitely weren't here.
He was just in earlier today. I don't know as if he's left yet. Did something new with his ship.
Oh, good to know.
Word is he's hired a bunch of mercenaries to hunt you down. I don't know what you did, but you really get under his skin.
We just left.
Yeah.
Didn't you
That's
just say
it?
he was crazy?
He threatened violence, and we took that as a sign that we should probably get out. Like
Oh,
any
see,
person.
there's your problem. He wanted to kind of vent his anger, and you didn't let him. So sometimes anger unfulfilled turns into crazy.
He
that's-
vented that anger. It just was in a very unhealthy way.
Yeah.
So yeah, he came in earlier holding 2 skulls in each hand and tried to trade them for information. And I don't know what that was all about. I don't know who told him I traded skulls. He's out of his mind.
Do you
We
know
traded.
if he's left yet?
I don't. I haven't been outside. I've been up to my armpits in business all day. Speaking
So-
of, do you have any?
That's what I was gonna get to. We've got some parts and stuff that we'd like to purchase, and
Yeah, sure.
we'll pay well for them. But in return, once we leave, if you could do us a favor and send word to our friendly old captain and let him know that we just came through and we were talking about a big score that we were headed for. And I'm going to give him directions to like the complete opposite direction that we were headed.
Yeah, we can send him back
Jacobite
to.
says don't do that.
90 degrees.
Yeah.
90 degrees, not 180.
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
Because if he's wily, he may figure out and go the other way. If you send him over here and you're going here,
Even
He's
if it
gonna
goes
go-
the other way.
he's going to go, and he'll go that way.
I see. Up
That's
to you, Joaquin. It's your plan.
Sorry,
No, that's fair.
that was a meta thing, but
No, that's totally fair.
That's smart.
I feel like Joaquin would have thought
Considered
about that.
that. You bet.
Yeah. So yeah.
So we're giving him the 90 degrees, not the.
Yeah.
You bet.
if we're going north, he thinks we're going east.
He goes, I can do that. But humor me. Where are you going? Because I got stuff needs doing. And I mean, if you're going to do me a favor, I figure we can call it square now if you agree to do me a favor.
I'll give him the general direction we're headed, but I'm not going to tell him what we're going for.
Yeah.
Okay, you bet. You mean you're not going to hold up a big sign that says mother load?
Hey, we found coordinates to the mother load now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. When you tell him the general direction you're going, he goes, yeah. He raises an eyebrow and goes, lots of business out there right now. As it happens, skiffs rise into the surface out there. And I want to level with you. I sent a bunch of scouts out there, but none of them come back, and they should have by now. Not all of them had fast ships, but some of them did, and they should have been back by now. So I have 0 intel for you. 0. But one of those ships is real important to me. I need you to go I need not to recover the ship. You're going to find a rare collection of dog food from the past. If you bring that to me, I'll call it even. I'll even throw in a second favor if you want.
Everything else fair game for us to take then?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. If anything's left of that ship, the ship cruise, yeah, go nuts. I just want the dog food. You can't miss it. The material's weird. It's not really a bag so much as a sack. It's got this weird, like, cool to the touch plastic, and it's got a big blue seal on the front of it.
Dog food.
Okay.
Dog food, right. He pets tripod on the head, who has been glaring at Joaquin this whole time. And he
Does
goes,
that-
He definitely is keeping at least like 2 people in between himself and the dog or the pinwolf.
you bet. He goes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Does this salvage that he's talking about kind of sound like the rumors I was hearing in the past town of the salvage that just recently came to the surface?
Yes.
Okay.
He pets tripod on the head and he goes, he's a good dog and he's an old dog and he deserves the very best, don't you, buddy? And he nuzzles his head.
Okay.
Probably manage that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel like we could probably handle that. I mean, do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Considering we get the favor.
He goes, oh, good. Do you smell that? And there is an intense rocking as the building quakes and you hear the sound of a definite explosion outside. And I'll see you in a week.
Okay.